Hi, this is Kaizuku Uncharted. We're a couple of siblings of the vast sea of anime. If you think this is the crew for you, set sail with us each week. I'm Jakia.
And Justin. And do I have news? I think I have some last minute news.
Okay.
Let's see, that was WNBA. Let's see. Oh yeah. So,
Okay.
I thought this was done. Thought it was over.
Okay.
But I found some news.
Okay.
Second season of I left my A-rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon depths has been confirmed. And I just thought it was done.
I mean, we can talk about it. Actually, there is more to do, but we can talk about it when we discuss the show.
There. Okay.
But I'm okay with that.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay with there being a season 2.
Sure.
Right.
So
any other news?
No. So that's the news.
Okay.
The news.
The news. All right. So why don't you go first? Why don't you start us off?
All right. So I can't talk about that one because that's on the continuation.
Okay.
So I'm just going to start this off by saying that there's no order. You know how usually I'm like, what's week 2?
Yeah, and you usually let me know that I didn't make the right decision.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just feel with the season over, this is just where we are.
This is a free for all.
Yeah, this is just where we are. I feel like
that's fine. That's totally fine.
So I'm going to go ahead and start with Teogonia.
I think that's the right choice to start.
Okay.
I feel like that
pretty bold. All right. So, why do you think that's the right choice?
I think it's the right choice because.
And do I need the book?
I think everyone who needs to be in the book is in there.
Okay.
I think everyone who needs to be in there is in there. Wait, did we put the? Hold on, let me get her name. Just give me a second. Have mercy. The macaque princess in the book. Did we put her in there? I don't know if we put her in there.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Zaya, Zayena.
Zanaya or something. Yes. She was working my nerves for a little bit, and I was just like,
She is not in there.
Okay. I mean, I'd be down to put her in there because
I'm not against it.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like she's not able to back it up. Especially with all, she's not able to handle business, and she's not strong, but she's trying to lead this charge. I know I'm jumping, but I'm just like, it's fine. Anyway, so backing it up, Teogonia, I'm okay with how it ended. I don't know if we're gonna get a season 2. I don't know if we get a season 2. If we get a season 2, I'll be thankful for it.
We got no choice but to get a season 2.
I mean, look, there are many shows who I feel like deserved a season 2 and never got it. So, if this show gets a season 2, I won't be mad because I feel like there's so much more we need. We need more answers.
Sure,
we only solved one problem. Only the macaque's problem was kind of solved.
So where you're starting is, I think last time we had already discussed how Elsa got kidnapped.
Right, she got kidnapped. Basically, how the macaques were like, "Hey, come help us."
Yeah, they were following us, bunch of creeps, and he's like,
"Get out of here!"
It's like we just went to war with each other. Like I'm not, and now you want my help, And I was like, okay, cool. Now, there were some things that I took. First of all, I know I got beef with Teogonia. Okay,
that's fine.
I don't care
too at times
because I checked the details, and that thing said 11 episodes. So that's why I was like, really, Teogonia?
I know, and I called you. I was like, Justin, there's 12. And then you're just like, what are you talking about?
I did see it, but I waited for the original release date.
Yeah.
Nothing dropped, and I was like, okay, that's what we're doing. Right. I'm like, oh, you think you can just stop right here on episode 11?
Because that would have been really bold. I was like, This show, I would have definitely gave that show a 5 if it was, maybe even a 4 if it stopped at episode 11.
I was just like, okay. So then, yes, episode 12 drops. The only reason I say, when you end something like this, somebody had better already picked up season 2, because do not introduce us to the Central Plains. Okay, so we see the kingdom, we see the Central Plains, basically mocking the outskirts. You know,
yes.
So
at
I'm
their
like,
table,
right?
I would put them all in the book, but I don't know all of them yet.
Sure.
We
don't want to just be blind with it.
I mean, hey, the fact that they at that table is enough.
That's not incorrect. So there's that. Then we're facing Diablo. We're hearing. I'll tell you who's lucky they haven't gotten the vote so far.
Okay.
Is
You talking about second in command?
No, I want Kai. I'm just sick and tired.
Put Kai in the book.
I'm tired of this kid not listening.
I mean, look, I've had beef with him since the beginning, so you got the votes. Put Kai in the book. That's not a problem.
I can't stand Kai.
I was like, he's gotten a little bit more tolerable.
Just a tad.
Just a little. I didn't say a whole lot. I said a little more more tolerable.
He's saying kill Diablo. Don't question it. Just go do what you're supposed to do. I'm tired of him. And like, I'm jumping a little bit, but at the end, that's another reason why there should be a season 2, because we meet that other race.
It's true. I mean, we get to meet them more in detail because we met them earlier.
Sure.
We met one tribe earlier, but that was the first time that someone was like, "Hey."
It was like a dead tribe. Like they had already got killed.
Right, but she came and she said, "Hey, I'm the new leader."
So we know people escaped.
Right, absolutely. And so, and I love how his deity was like, "You need worshipers."
Yeah, she's
like, "Don't fight this."
Yeah, like, "Hey, we want to join you. I'll be your wife." He's like, "What?" And then he says, "We need followers."
I was, what's his name? Because now I'm starting to see where what are they called? The core, Pollock,
Oh yeah.
I feel like now I'm starting to see. I'm like, oh, is this why people don't like them? Because immediately when the Uzels were just like, hey, we want to start following you and be your disciples. His first thought was like, hey, we need people to. He was already starting to assign them a position of what they needed to do. And
they need other guardsmen.
Well, yes, they need other guardsmen. But I was like, hey, Pollock, I was like, it's not up to you to decide that. And so I'm just like, he needs to be a little more careful about where he stands and what his authority is.
That man is basically the wise man. He's the chief. Like, he is navigating this fool.
I don't know.
He's in charge of these things.
Something's telling me that we need to be weary of him. Something. I'm just like, I don't trust him. There's a reason why he lost his eyesight, okay? And he told us why.
He entered the valley without permission.
Absolutely. So,
now he has it. I mean, so I don't see.
Anyways, but going back to what you're talking about with Diablo, I thought it was interesting how the lore that the macaques had, because they were just like, oh, it's because of us that the land overall is decaying, and I was like, oh, that's interesting that it's like it's coming from y'all, but then I wonder like how we learned with the orcs how there's like another being that's like taking them out, and then they have the Diablo, and I'm just like, are all these things contributing to this? But does it all tie back to the unified kingdom of man not being weakened in the first place? Because that's what it was sounding like. They were starting to like mix the lores of like how like what's going on with the macaques is actually what's happening with the United Kingdom of Man and everything. So I was just like, okay, they're dropping some things.
Sure.
So I was just like, curiosity is mine. So we'll see. So I'm just like,
I think that's also a reason why I'm like, they had only told us a part of, I mean, we didn't get a number, but how there's some lieutenants of the orc people, you know, we fought that one. So I'm like, okay, so where the rest?
Right.
So there's
where they at now, what they doing.
Right,
we had a lot of macaque time, which is fine. But then I also wonder, now from us saving the macaques, where does our alliance lie?
I like to think good standing.
In the sense of like overall, because man, the unified kingdom of man overall is at war with the macaques, but Kai and his village. So I feel like Kai is in good standing with the macaques, but I'm just like, is his village also proxy of that? But so they're excluded from the macaques attacking other humans.
I was gonna say, I think the valley is good.
Okay.
And then I feel like in turn, because they were like, kind of like ask us whatever you want or whatever. I think for the most part, Lag Village is good. Like, hey, don't come over here no more. Like,
right.
This is where I stay. Now, my question is gonna be: does the valley end up eventually absorbing the Lag Village in these nearby ones?
I don't know, because it makes it sound like from what Polak and what the new girl's name is, Nidrun says, is that they're going to build a new place. Because now I'm confused. Because I got confused because we have the Arbiter God, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, at the same time, Kai has also become a new god. So there are two gods here now. Because they're referring, but then I was confused because I was like, because they're referring to like the Arbiter God and then the Great Kaine, but then sometimes the macaques like, hey, we have different names, but then they were also treating them as like two separate.
See, I took that as
because remember at the tree at the base of the thing, she said, hey, a new god has been born. So you have the main one from the tree, and then there was a new flower. So I was just like, are there two now?
I just took it as they have a different. They're the same god but different names for the culture, similar to Diablo and whatever thread. And when she was saying the new god, I took it as, yes, you're a vessel, but now you're becoming your own. And since I saw one flower prior, has he only had one vessel that ever wielded him, and now it's him.
Sense. Okay, that's a lot.
So that's kind of how I took it, and I was just like, okay, interesting.
Also, when she ever gonna leave the valley? Like, she's still down there. She ain't ever
Listen, she is doing her job.
Look, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with her doing her job, but I'm just like, she has no aspirations to leave the depths of
she came there for her people. She is okay with being more or less like, I don't want to say a housewife, but like she got a home, she got means to survive. He ain't ever there. She is good. I like the fact that they had the Corps had buried the inspector. That one blonde guy, he's making his way up the ranks. You know, he's like, hey, He said, no, we got to get rid of all this evidence so the humans don't find me. I was like, this guy's always on top of stuff. He also came with us to the McCade's village. I was like, cool. And then we found out more of their backstory. We found out about Shindur. He does eventually become Diablo. Or Diablo possesses him.
Right, because I was like, he wasn't always Diablo.
Right. And that's when I wonder, is Diablo just a fear for the war? Because, you know, they didn't. It's not like they talked about the McKays like on the Arbiter. It's just that he's done battle with him prior.
Right.
He's had to rid him of it. And what if Diablo itself? This isn't the last. I don't think this is the last time we've come across Diablo.
Right, it's just something that happens every couple centuries or whatever.
I think it's gonna be more he gonna take over the pigs. You know, he might.
I mean, I feel like what the pigs going through, they got a entity that's probably taking over one of them that we have to defeat. I feel like each group got their own thing.
Interesting.
I'm just saying that's the picture I got.
And then I wouldn't be surprised if somehow man has Diablo just represents so much stuff. Like these dudes at the Central Plains clearly seem greedy. We've seen that from the inspector alone. And I was just like,
he the worst. He killed me when he thought he was like, hey, he said I am a guardian, and I was just like, to who? He thought he was about to throw it.
Yeah, no, he ain't do nothing. Worthless. So yeah, but other than that, you know, we have the fight where, you know, Kai's fighting Diablo. The other McKays are trying to help. Zanea, they attacked They attacked another village
in the north,
and then took their deity god. And I was just like, and I just took those dudes, those dog or wolf-like people in the Northern tribe. Like they're similar to a cabal. That's kind of what they look like. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, what the heck, But she was trying to amass power to fight this off, So I was like, cool. Are we gonna really meet those people? Maybe he did want to free the Diafuse.
It's like Diawolf.
Yeah.
Deus Wolf. Yeah.
But that's why she was like, oh, well, then your wish has already been granted. He had already took off after they successfully defeated Diablo. Mm-hmm. When they defeated Diablo, Shindur kind of had came out weakened, but had a little talk with his sister. I was like, okay, cool. And then that's when we found out about the whole new guy thing. When we went back to the valley, it looked like Kai had made some new manifestation where he had like armor on his hands or something.
Yeah. I mean, we ain't ever gonna learn about his past life, but it just...
Oh, good, you giving that up?
I am. I'm giving... I think 12 episodes and I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing but him figuring out like atoms, molecules, calcium. I'm just like, okay.
All I'm saying is, I just wonder if this is gonna be the first ever, because they could be on, they can be new. Is this the first isekai? That's when they get reincarnated. Is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
The first isekai that ain't an isekai. Because like, what if we never get to see that world? Then it don't count.
I mean, I don't know if it don't count. I mean, we get glimpses in the fact of him having memories about cheese or whatever, but I'm just...
what's the other thing? He liked the rice balls?
Yeah, and then, and tech or whatever, so I'm just like, I don't know, I feel like I agree, I think this might be a new approach to isekai, which I'm not upset about.
I'm always up for something new.
Yeah, because most isekais, they give you a whole thing, and you're just like, it's either going to give me all of it, or you're not going to give me any of it, and I feel like this show's like, I'm not going to give you really anything. Just know that he's not of this world. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, you like, and I can live with that.
I can live with that.
So, and then the only last question I have is Elsa in like some coma-like state?
She's in a coma-like state. I feel bad that he didn't tell her sister what happened to her. Because she over here, he got Lisa thinking that she gone.
Well, first of all, and he's a liar. Because she called him it. She said, you was going to bring my sister back. Now, granted, now maybe he was just playing it safe. Because he don't know what... if she was going to wake up, if she dead, so he didn't want to spill too much. But he did say, hey, once you wake up, I'm going to bring your sister here. Mm-hmm. And it also sounds like he going to actually start making this valley, because I'm tired of the back and forth, It's almost like he a cheating husband. I don't want you, leave Lag Village alone. I don't care for that kid either.
Oh, Orha?
Yeah.
He the worst.
He ain't in the book.
He's not?
No.
Put him in there. He's the worst.
Okay.
He hasn't done anything for anybody.
I didn't forget what happened in episode 1. Eating all them godstones.
I mean, that was the worst. And he was just like, y'all get a measly share. And I'm just like, this person. But yeah, so... I mean, I agree. I think we should leave Lag Village alone and just go. We don't really need them. We really don't.
Yeah, for what purpose?
I don't think there's any point. We don't tell them nothing about ourselves. There's nothing really holding us to this place. The only thing that was basically Elsa, and she's by the tree. She in the valley.
I mean, I would be down if we went ahead and took people from there.
I mean, we can take
just the crew that we roll with.
I mean, not everybody, but I'm down for Monso. The one with the longer blue hair.
Sure.
He can be.
Well, and he's not even the real captain, because that one captain, older guy, is with the chief. Mm-hmm. And to me, I want to know, can we just be a partnership village? We take some people. We got Lag's back. Lag will have the valleys back. They can send Jose with us.
Well, Lag don't really do much. I mean, they haven't really won a lot of.
Well, that's why I want the valley to just consume them. And I say that because, I want Lady Jose to go to her village where her land god is and make it prosperous.
That's Same what I've been saying the whole time. time.
Same for that punk kid.
That's what I've been saying the whole time. I was like, y'all defeating the whole point of y'all having these guardians. I was like, y'all.
That's why you're weak.
Yes. But it's fine. It's whatever. But yeah, so hopefully we get a season 2.
It was a good show. I mean, it wasn't on our most anticipated.
I think it was something that caught our attention, but we
were like, we're gonna jump on it.
Right.
Like the season prior, it's not like we were like, yo, Teogonia, let's get it.
It was unexpected.
Is his name like Olaf? I don't see this name anyway.
It's Orhad, so it's like but no, yeah, no.
I think there's an H in there somewhere.
Yeah, so Orha. There it is. Mhm.
Right, he's still trash. Okay, so that was Teogonia, my pick. Go for it.
Old Country Bumpkin.
Okay.
So, oh wait, what do we rate Teogonia? I'm gonna give it a 7.
I'm really high on it.
I'm gonna give it a 7. I want to give it a 7 because I don't know if there's gonna be a season 2.
Would you say you're okay how it ended? So that means it will be closure.
I'm okay. I think it's fine. I mean, I have a lot of questions still. I have a lot of things that haven't been answered. But I'm like, if it ends this way, I'm like, okay. Which is why I'm just like, it's an okay ending for what it was.
I want to give it a 9.
That's really bold to give it a 9.
The only reason I don't is because it seemed, and it's almost weird to say, it seemed rushed.
It was rushed.
Yeah, it was like it was rushed. Like I was okay with a lot of the pacing, but it was only a certain parts was a tad bit rushed. So I'm gonna give it like an 8.7 because to me, ending was good. Intro was really good. I felt really good that I finally had an intro I could get behind again.
It was a solid intro.
So yeah, I was just like between that and then I don't want to call it old school. I like the semi kind of throwback graphic animation kind of take of it. Yeah. So all of that together, I really want to give it a 9, but because of the few instances where it was like rushed for no reason, I'm gonna give it 8.7.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I'm still gonna give it a 7.
Sure.
I just like there's too much information. Like the world needs to finish building. We've been introduced to too many characters. I'm just like, what's going on? What's happening next? That's
another reason why I think we're going to get a season 2 is because we actually got the name of that one younger monkey who McKay with the mohawk.
That's true.
So I was just like,
he was ready to go throw down multiple times.
So that's why I'm like, yo, he gonna probably like join us or something. I was like, okay,
something. We're gonna have a ragtag band of people.
Misfits.
Absolutely.
All right, Country Bumpkin.
Yes. How'd you feel about it end? How do you think it ended? Like, what are your thoughts?
Oh boy.
I mean, so for me, I
mean, other than obvious, but like I mean, it just spelled somebody was a traitor. Like from the get-go.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't believe Rose for a minute, but it was disappointing. So, we meet Rose. We meet Rose's second in command. We learned about, like, hey, something happened to the previous commander, but no one wanted to say what it was. So immediately I was like, got it, betrayal. That's fine. We don't have to say anything. We got our new clothes.
Wasn't a fan of them.
We paid $65,000 for it. And he was like, this is crazy. I don't know. I feel like it didn't really pick up until it got to the point with the prince and princess, and they were like doing their tour around the city.
So how did you feel about the prince?
It took me a second to realize what was happening. Okay. Because the way they set it up, they made it seem like this was the prince's town, but no, this is the princess's kingdom, which is why everybody knows her. But the way he was coming out was like, hey, we're so glad that you're here. I'm just like, no, she's been here. I was like, you're the person that's like coming into this space. But no, the prince, he's okay. I don't think he makes good sense. I mean, I was annoyed by both the prince and princess because they made
when we stopped.
Yeah, and there wasn't a plan to stop.
I was just because, that alone. I was
just because it was like, oh, it was a pretty accessory and the thing, and that made me be a little suspicious. Maybe be a little
Right.
suspicious of the prince. Because, and actually, it doesn't have to be both suspicious of both of them, to be honest. Because I was like, the princess, I'm like, hey, you live here. You live here. So
you ain't ever seen that before?
I was like, you ever seen this shop before?
Well, maybe what if she's like a shut-in? Like
No, she's not a shut-in. I don't think she is shut-in.
Or the dad, clearly the dad's overprotective. Maybe she's not out and about as much.
Perhaps, but something about it was like too...
But one of your maids ain't seen it before and tell you about it?
Right, something about it seemed too perfect. Like, oh, at this moment, we're going to stop because she saw this one thing in the store. And, yeah, so I didn't really trust the prince. I was like, something about him and his backstory. I was like, I don't know what it is. But he's fine. He's whatever.
Yeah, he like kind of made up, because at first I was ready to like, okay, you about to go in the book for this unnecessary stop.
It was
but
really
then like, he started to make it up, and then I understood he didn't want to show weakness.
Absolutely, and that makes sense.
And I was like, you know what? Okay.
That makes sense, because we get the whole backstory about what's happening in his kingdom and the power struggle and stuff, and how it all plays into the Pope. You know, here we go with the churches again.
Yo, we can't catch a break. we find out there's political war between the churches.
All these things with the churches, it's crazy.
So because of that, I was just like, all right, I don't know what's going on, and we start as soon as the one guy like yells out like heinous, I was just like, okay, so he know him.
Right.
And then I was like, all right.
Yes.
And yeah, like I immediately was like suspicious of Rose, because one, I was like, oh my gosh, not another former student, you know, that we don't
we don't know. But I like the fact it was a student that was like that took the wrong path later on.
I could kind of, well, to an
extent.
We
don't really see that often.
I feel like it always happens.
Well, no, in the sense of like you have all. I'm just saying
not here. Right.
Like, because all his students are like incredible, amazing people, and then it's like, oh, one of them like.
I didn't trust Rose when it was every time. When it's like the classic look away, when like they need to explain something and they kind of mutter it under their breath and look away, and I'm like, okay, so either you in trouble or you know something. That's usually what happens. And after that, I was just like, okay, Rose seemed cool. But then like when we start getting attacked, Rose out here actually killing folk. Absolutely. And I was just like, dang, Rose, you had to kill him? Like, in the town?
Normally that's what we want. Normally we're just like, why? Normally we're like, wait, you need to finish these people. And in this one, we're just like, oh my gosh, why would you do that?
Yeah, they said we need them alive. So I was like, what's going on, Rose? And then it looked real suspicious when we went to this wheat field. I was like...
Well, even before the wheat field, because I thought I was disappointed in Lucia, because I was like, hey, how come you're not picking up on these cues? Because Rose is like, hey, I want, like, can you tell me the information about...
Oh, yeah.
I was like, she was like...
Well, she wanted to know the layout of the wheat field.
I was like, excuse... And the fact that she was... But
I was like, oh, she guilty.
Yeah, Lucia was like, oh, you can talk to whatchamacallit about it. And then she was like, yeah, but you know it better. And, like, what areas should we be aware of? And I was like, how are we not...
Well, I was okay with that, only because...
I wasn't. I said, this spells... problems.
Yeah, but it was similar to how Alicia and what's that dude named? Commander Gatogo. They had discussed, because like I was like, oh my god, he gonna keep this in house. But apparently he had already told Alicia how that he noticed that person was the former second command. Mm-hmm. So I wonder, I think Alicia is like really smart. So when Rose wanted to have this conversation, I think she probably knows, like, okay, let me be wary of her as well as I give her this information. That's how I'm taking it. I might be giving her too much credit.
I think you're giving her a little bit too much credit, because I'm just like, I don't know. And then we come to find out later, much later, this is me jump a little bit, why the magical guard wasn't there. Because I was like, if they were there...
Oh, none of that should have happened.
None of this would have happened. But then we come to find out from... the main leader of the magical guard, she's like, hey, we can't get involved with this because this is the whole religious thing right now. And so she's just like, if we people who are able to do miracles outside of their religion are here to like step into it, then it's gonna cause a whole nother series of problems.
Right.
But I was just like, but this is your country. I said, this has nothing to do with like that main country that they're coming from. I said, that has nothing to do with this.
But I like that.
But I understand that she was like, this is why we're not involved.
She's aware.
Absolutely.
Like, we don't want to make no problems. But yeah, eventually we get to the wheat field. We start getting ambushed by these assassins who shoot arrows.
I appreciate a good archer.
I appreciate people who know they role. They like, yo, y'all gonna attack. We gonna keep shooting arrows. You may get hurt or you might die, but we gonna try to achieve our mission.
Right.
And I was like, got it. And then when I saw this, first of all, 2 issues came up. I saw all the soldiers lining up in the wheat field. So I was like, one, where are the other soldiers? Why are these arrows even getting to us? 2, I was like, where's Rose? So then I was just
immediately, I was like, Rose isn't here.
I was like, this is a problem, Rose.
And no one else noticed that Rose wasn't there. I was like, what's going on here?
The high wheat, I guess.
I don't know about that.
So then we got the one-on-one teacher versus. I tell you what, I didn't know about how the commander Togo was like, I'll handle the former second in command. Where was their fight? You just showing up?
Yeah, absolutely. I said, what happened?
I don't like that.
I said, are we gonna get some backstory from this person?
And yo, why those assassins just let him walk right past them in the wheat? And I was just like, I don't like any of this. And then we have, the Sensei versus Rose. That was a good fight. They kind of made it full circle when Alicia was fighting somebody who tried to use her cape against her. I was like, you know what? This is full circle.
That's what I told you. I was like, all right. She learned in that moment that you're not going to have a fair fight. And then when he was going up against Rose, same thing happened when he cut her down. She said, hey, what was up with that move? He was like, I had to do it. Because I'm like, why y'all keep thinking that we're doing things fair? I said, you're in a traitor situation.
Yeah, especially you.
I was like, I was like, Rose, why do you think we're going to have a fair duel with you? That doesn't make any sense.
Fool.
I was like, make it make sense, people.
But yeah, it basically ends with us being acknowledged as master swordsmen.
And the king tried to have us go.
That's what to overprotect the king.
He was like, "Hey, Beryl, you want to be a part of her special unit while she go to this other country?" I'm just like, I was like, we barely know about our country that we in. Why are we going to a whole nother place?
Right. So now we are introduced another world. They showed Rose and Gato riding back. They also showed our other student. She was heading on an adventure, the Black Plate Adventurer. Mm-hmm. And then they showed our dad and the guy who took over the dojo. So I was just like, it ended a way where they could show everybody going their separate ways, but it also ended in a way, could there be a season 2? Possibly.
Possibly. That's a true statement. Possibly. But my other question is, does the king have other children? Because who's going to take over his kingdom?
Sure.
Because I was just like, if you sending her there, I thought he was marrying to this. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know.
I still thought that was a thing. It's just that he came to visit us.
Yeah.
Now she going to visit him.
Okay. Like,
so what's your take on this one?
This show, it gave me more slice of life vibes, or like more
100%.
chill vibes than actual like swordsman things. It had its moments, but it wasn't as like action packed as I thought it was gonna be.
Sure.
I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna give it a solid 7. I feel like it's fine. It's an okay. It's a good watch. I don't want to say it's an okay watch. It's a good watch. It's just like it's a 12er. No more, no less. I feel like it's fine.
They have an audience.
They definitely have an audience. Yeah, I feel like it's fine. I mean, I feel like we got more. I don't know. I think if there are more opportunities for like to see like how Mew is gonna like grow and develop, or to see more time at the magic school and see how their role shapes into this overall world, because like I'm more curious about where the magic guard lands and all this because they're just like, hey, we understand this is a religious state, but we're still able to operate.
It also seems like if there was a season 2, they're not going to have any role because if their start to focus on the other country, it's like then you guys wouldn't have any role in this next season.
Right. I don't know. So I'm just saying I'm more curious about what their overall role is in the things because like they are a force to be reckoned with. I feel like that's because we've already had a run-in with them before. Like they already had a run-in with the Pope and everything before. So I'm just like, okay. So we'll see. But yeah, I give it a solid 7. What about you?
7's cool.
Alright, 7's cool.
I got no problem with that. Okay, let's see here.
Alright, your pick.
It's alright. It's alright. So we'll do the My Hero.
Alright.
It's alright. It's pretty okay intro. I had so many questions about this show.
Understandable.
First of all, I don't know if that's his real name or not.
You got what you wanted, I think.
Mr. Ogaro. But, I like the fact that he was teaming up with them delinquents, to get information. I was like, okay. Then we start to connect the dots. We got a wife in the hospital. I was
like, Knuckle Duster has a family.
Right.
We found out he has a real name. He has a job. He has a family. Because before we did not think that was the case.
I mean, I was questioning, like, is this his daughter? And then they confirmed it. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, like, I started to go back and think. Vigilante, villain, hero, idol. They were saying all these terms. And it's kind of interesting how they all can be one and the same depending on what path you take.
Right.
And it can branch off because now we're starting to see he basically told the street toughs that he's using us.
Yeah.
He's using us so that he can get to his daughter. And I was like, okay. And then, like, this just became, I don't want to say dark, but it took a turn. Like, we find out that one pop fan, he's been chained up the whole time. She got him chained up, transforming him. No one's checking in on this parking garage. Knuckle Duster was following her. He ain't good. When she went and lifted up the thing, you didn't see that happening? No. Like, I don't understand. We find out, and all about this realness is happening. There's going to be a mall opening. Like,
yeah, it makes sense because the previous mall was, and I appreciate this because we don't talk about this enough. We don't talk about how when villains and heroes throw down in the city, what happens to these buildings that get messed up?
Sure.
And then this mall was like, hey, we're doing a brand new opening because the last villain attack destroyed the mall. So now we have to, like, it's been under construction, it's been under repairs for such and such time. And that's what it is. And I was like, I appreciate this because most of the time, even for Powerpuff Girls, people
just bypass it.
Just pass. I'm just like, no, people were in these buildings. Like, what's going on?
So it's gonna be a new mall opening.
A new mall opening.
Knuckle Duster confronts his daughter.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
While she has unleashed the captive boy who just wants to see Pop. Eraser is there.
That was real.
Who's supposed to be headed to the mall but doesn't want to go, but he runs into him.
He was like, hey, I'm on my way. But then he was like, please let there be something so I don't have to go. And then he was like, Yeah, I can't go. I'm on the team.
I hate that Mike guy. Like
me too. It confirms even now how much I never cared for him as a hero, even in the main story, because I was like,
can we put him in the book?
I don't mind putting him in the book. We can put him in there. Now the question is, do you want him in My Hero or in Vigilantes or both?
It's probably in My Hero.
Okay.
Because it's a part of this.
It's a part of this. But, so no, I appreciate we got to see, like a mini throwback to our top heroes. Not in their prime, but before they really took off.
Yeah.
So that was good to know. It's good to see them, like, in action. Like, they're like, yeah, we at the mall. That's totally
They didn't do much. They were
really
on standby.
They were on standby, and they told us, they're like,
did you notice that blue genius in the background?
Of course I did. He's the greatest. I'm not Janae. I'm not a perpetual best genius hater. But, yeah. I will say I was annoyed by the heroes in the sense of, like, hey, there's something that's happening, and then they were all like, oh, we can't do anything.
If we act, it's an emergency or something.
And I was just like, that's what this is. Like, so I was really disappointed in that, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm seeing even more so now, like, like, what are the heroes, like, what's the true point of these heroes?
You're seeing the real reason why vigilanteism is needed.
It is, because I'm like, if y'all not even going to help out in a blackout, in a citywide blackout, and none of y'all even attempted to go down to help erase her.
They figured he had it. I guess they figured he had it.
Yeah, but I'm just like, y'all could at least went to go see.
Now, there were two things here.
Okay.
One thing that was awesome. One thing that I had questions.
Okay.
The awesome thing was when the mall concert started. Mm-hmm. NK Master Hayashiburo Naboku sung that song, Yearning For.
That was the best song.
That was the greatest song ever.
That was the best song about the mall I ever heard. I can't remember the name of the mall, but I was like, we're going to name this episode that, because I was like, this song is everything.
I, rewinded it.
Me too, 5 times. And I was like, everything.
I
great.
wish it was the intro. They could have sung the whole, it's all right. It's all right. And then, as they were, winding down, it could have just been a straight shot of him passionately singing, yearning for Naruhata. And then it would just have won. It had to, if that wasn't part of it, it would have won intro of the year already for 2025.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, look, that was probably one of the best songs for the year.
It was great.
And, we could put it in for next year's, well, yeah, it was a great song.
Yeah, it was. And then
I was like, I would go to this mall just because of this guy. Just
for this guy.
Just for this guy. I was like, man, what's his story? I said, we need to see his concert.
I'm like, is he a hero?
Absolutely. I was like, of the mall. Is he the resident mall hero?
Now, after that, nothing but questions for Tama.
Okay.
His daughter.
Well, even before that, I want to put those two sisters in the book.
Okay.
Because I don't appreciate them, how they came. Absolutely to Pops. So they're just like, oh my gosh, why would she come to this event? I mean, why would she come to practice not in her costume? I was like, because we don't know what's going on yet.
Yeah, we're here for questions.
Right, and then we find out that we weren't even going to wear our costumes anyway.
Then we found out no one else did.
Right.
They were in practice uniforms, the dance team.
Oh, that dance team goes hard. I was like, this is a good dance
The
team.
musicians, they were just like what musicians do. That's what they wear.
Absolutely.
Nothing special.
Yeah, they were just judging everybody, and I was like, and that's why one of them got hurt. And I was just like, no, better for you.
I don't know their name other than the fact that they're the twins.
You can just put them in, that's fine. But they're just like, her vocals aren't even that good. I said, let me just wait to hear y'all vocals. And her vocals didn't even sound that better. I was just like, who are these people?
Some local upstarts.
Apparently.
Who looking down on other local upstarts.
I was like, Pop said at least knows how to handle and manage a crowd. So I'm just like, in all situations. So
yeah,
I didn't care for those two. I'm gonna just be honest. So, but anyways, like you were saying, You have nothing but questions about the daughter. Because
is this a quirk?
No. So what it is? So how I took? Because I had to rewatch.
Okay.
Because I was like this. Because
I'm intrigued. Go ahead.
I had to rewatch, and then it was confirmed for me later. Okay. Because he's the whole. So once because I thought it was really clever how. I don't want to say he somehow orchestrated the fact that they had this mall concert, but he was really like, y'all do the mall thing. Because he was very indecisive about making sure, like, y'all not going to get involved.
Right.
So, him using the delinquents to be like, hey, did she go to this school or whatever? Not saying her name, but just like, does this person go here? And then one of the friends was like, nah, I ain't seen her. Or one that was actually a real friend was like, nah, I don't know. And then the other girl was just like, I don't know. Like, she had some type of, like, cognizant. And then she ends up going to see him in the alleyway, or she calls him to the alleyway, and she's like, hey, are you looking for, like, I have some information for you. And then he was like, okay. And then in that moment, that's when she was like, it seemed like it snapped. That's when, like, bees started to come out of her. And then I was like, wait a minute. I was like, okay. And then he started to, like, Knuckle Duster started to address them as the bee user the whole time. So I was like, okay, so this person, I was like, his daughter's no longer here. Sure. I was like, this bee user is just taking over different people, and these people are becoming like a living colony or a living hive for the thing. So I was like, his daughter's not. I didn't really think his daughter was there anymore, or like his daughter is there, but like she wasn't. She's not the main. She's not cognizant. She's not the one that's like moving and making the day-to-day actions, which makes me wonder. Like, how did she get involved with the bee user? Because the bee user has always been a part-time villain. That's how I took it. Like, the bee user has always been a part-time villain. So it just makes me even more curious about, like, who is the bee user truly working for? Because like, even when it came down to, like, the concert, the person that hired them, like, hey, you need to stop, like, doing this random stuff. Like, this isn't worth, like, the research. Sure. And so I was just like, okay, so this is a side quest now. So I'm like, is the bee user now acting are they not acting like outside of like their scope of work? And now they're just being like a villain just to be villains for villain's sake? I don't know. But I was just like, this is not his daughter.
So you're taking it as there is still like a remote bee user elsewhere.
I think there's another, I feel like, well, I don't know, because he said that, because I think this is why he's also been tracking it down, because he's like, oh, I finally found the queen, and you can't even fly. So his daughter's body was the queen, but it just makes me wonder, though, with how bees are, if there are different, if
different hives.
If there are different hives, and it's like, is there a possibility that the bee user is not actually gone?
See, and that's why I was like, one, I didn't know, because at first I was thinking, okay, we saw when his daughter Toma left the house angry.
She did.
And then she encountered the person who looked just like her.
Yeah.
But her hair was cut. This Hashashka person or what have you. Now, is that what she always looks like? And then now Toma cut her hair to make herself look like this? Because now I'm wondering, one, I wasn't sure was after we just literally saw them make a cat into a quirk user.
Yeah.
I was like, is the queen bee actually have a quirk? Mm-hmm. And it's more of a parasitic like a quirk. Or, similar to what you said, but tweaked is there a bee user out there? If there's like a master queen, mm-hmm. and as she infects people that have other colonies, that every colony must have a queen. Mm-hmm. So Knuckle Duster killed the queen that was inside of his daughter, mm-hmm. trying to wake, and then at the end, about to wake her up. But are there other queens taking over? Like, like that one friend, it was their queen in her body, hence all those bees came out.
Right.
Is there some, and like you said, clearly it's the main, now here's the other thing, it's the main bee user, also the person on the other phone, and that person infecting everybody.
I still feel like it might be all for one man. I don't know.
Okay, different voice, we got it.
I mean, hey, it's a different time. Like, he's changed, so...
So I end up having more questions.
Just a lot of questions, yes. Many questions.
I think it's over.
I don't know. I think there might be one more episode. It's a 13er, right?
I thought it was a 12.
No, it's a 13er. We'll have to like do a. We'll see.
That was the other thing too. Like where we usually get our information, I did not see it on the continuation list. I also didn't see One Piece on the continuation list or Apothecary, so I was just like, are they taking breaks because it's summer?
I don't know. I think.
Or are they just like, we don't have to put a continuation because we're One Piece and we're Apothecary. Like we'll be there, you know. Like you just shut up and watch. So
I think there's one more episode of Vigilante. I think it just drops later this week, and so we'll just do like a final closing of it. I feel like that's fine. I feel like we'll do a final closing of it.
So yeah, that's Vigilante.
Yeah, that's Vigilante.
What you give it? Oh well, I guess we can't rate it yet.
We can't rate it.
Fair enough.
Fine.
All right, next show.
Let's see. Hold on. The beginning after the end.
Okay.
The beginning after the end. Okay. I have unpopular opinions about this show, which is fine.
Sure.
I thought we were gonna get more information about his backstory and his before life, and we did not.
Yeah, why would you?
Because I feel like if your inner dialogue voice is the same voice from your previous life, and we're constantly referring back to your training and stuff from your previous, I needed to see what happened. And I feel like I never really got it. And so that was just annoyance for me. And that's fine. That's fine. Because I'm just like, this is since he was four, he's had the voice of a 37-year-old man. I said, okay, is it ever going to come back full circle?
We're building.
I suppose. I don't know if it's going to get a season 2.
It better.
I don't know if it is. I mean, it has the potential to. I appreciate the way it ended. I will say that. I would say everything that led up to it, I mean, you can miss me with it, but I appreciate the way it ended a lot. Because now I'm just okay, finally. I was like, finally, we're getting to the meat and potatoes. And now I'm just like, we're done with the family business.
Sure.
We're done with like all the shenanigans. It's you and Jasmine out in the world adventuring. And when we come back, you're going to go learn all the magic that you can learn. So I'm thankful for that. I'm excited for I'm excited for that. We got a new identity now.
Since we're jumping.
I mean, look, I have to jump because I don't have nothing else to say.
Really? Nothing at the Helstia auction house didn't rub you the wrong way?
I mean, I would say more of like the test and everything. I'm just saying, like, from how it ended, I'm just like, I feel like we're finally got to where I feel like now the show is actually starting.
I just feel I don't want to look because I don't know.
You can share what you want to say. It's
no. I'm just saying I don't want to offend listeners of this pod, future listeners of this pod, because we've seen the hate for this show.
It's there.
I would, and it doesn't do me any good to say, yo, email us, at Kaiser Uncharted and tell us why you hate this show so much in reference to the manga, because I could just read it. You know what I'm saying? I could just look at it myself.
I would prefer. I mean, I will say from this, I would rather have read the manga than this because. Like I said, like the pacing and stuff for me was like, I'm like, hey, if this was a 24, sure.
Yeah, I would have wanted it.
If this was a 24, I think I would have been okay. But the fact that it was only a 12er, and I feel like we wasted so much time. I feel like there was so much time.
And that was the crazy thing. From what I was reading, a lot of people were, first of all, and you know me, I'm the king of people having biscuit heads. Yeah. Like a lot of people were like mad that Kid Arthur had such a big head. I was like, well, that's a thing, what animes do. Some people were mad at the pacing. They were saying that it was going too fast. But in an anime adaptation, they're going to more or less hit on key points. They're going to take it there. And so I'm like, you're getting what you're meant to get.
I don't think the pacing was off. I just feel like it would have been better to spend time elsewhere.
A lot of manhwa people thought the pacing was
because look, it's a 12er. I'm not expecting.
Yeah, because like, what are we supposed to do? Be down there with Sylvia for like 4 episodes?
I think I would have been okay. Like, I feel like there are some moments or some pivotal moments with like the family and other things that could have been like. Could have easily been all in play, maybe like 2 to 3 episodes.
But it helps tell the connection.
Because
he didn't have a connection in his past life.
Well, see, this is what I'm talking about. See, I needed to hear more of that story, and that's like I just don't know.
Other than him clearly hinting and emphasizing, I didn't have this.
I'm happy for him that he is able to have a family in this time, that he's able to defend and care for, and that's the reason why he want to get strong. That's great. I'm happy for him. Yes, Arthur, absolutely. But I don't know. I feel like if they had set it up where maybe like the last two, like if the last 3 episodes had actually started on episode 4, I think we would have been in a totally different situation.
My other thing
because if we started in the point of like if the last 3 episodes or like in like episode 4, we would have had an opportunity to have a flashback of Sylvie and actually having some flashbacks of like strength of training time, and it would have made sense because it's just like, hey, cool, we did this time jump because I don't mind the time jump if you give me years,
right?
And then it's like, cool, we're on our adventure with Jasmine, we're doing all this stuff, and then it could be like this
we'll
moment.
get some of that in too, because to me, the more of the building of the story with Sylvie then was Sylvie wanted more like a child. Sylvie was nurturing to him. Sylvie literally said, I could have been sent you back. So like that's where I stand with that. To me,
I'm just saying, going back to what you're saying, how people would have wanted more time with. I'm just saying that would have been an awesome opportunity to do like that flashback moment.
I just feel like they're building the world. That's exactly what they're doing. In a
very slow, weird way. I feel like the pacing, like for how they're building the world, is slow. Sure. Because I'm just like, I didn't need to spend all this time in the Elven village like that. This could have been. I'm just like, some of it was filler, and this is just being honest. Like, most of that could have been done in, like, a very short thing. Like, I didn't need to see all this stuff with the grand. Like, I love the granddad. He's great. I feel like this could have been a great opportunity to, like, circle back to him later. I
feel like we needed it.
I'm saying, like, those key moments. But the other parts, I'm just like, I didn't need that. I didn't need all that. I didn't need it. So I'm just like, I don't know.
And I think it's going to be, like, to each their own. Like, some people don't care for Tess,
Tess is fine. I just need, like...
It was a lot of test time.
It was a lot. See, that's what I'm talking about. We didn't need the test time because I'm just like.
But that's what I'm saying. Some people wanted that because it's almost like possible budding relationship between her and Tess, him and Tess. Some people like for the granddad. To me, my thing was, did we ever get the granddad's name?
No.
And the only reason I bring that up is because episode 11, when we went and got the sword, when we thought it was a staff. And he had to use his power to actually unseat it. It's Dawn's Ballad, WK the Fourth. And I'm thinking, what if that's his granddad? What if it's the granddad's, because it was the 4th lineage of the Elf Kings. Mm-hmm. They were like, oh, some old geezer gave it to it, dropped it off. And so, it's all, I'm like, what if that's his? And that's how he was able to connect with it. I feel like the king is trash from the auction house where we can put the king in the book. I want to put the king's guard or sorcerer in the book. Absolutely. They just kept wanting Sylvie.
And I'm glad that Arthur was like, yo, you've asked me 3 times, I've declined 3 times. Yeah. So then he was like, how much are you willing to sell your children for? And then he was just like, what? And he was just like, well, if you gonna keep asking, then let's go about it. And then he was just like, how dare you? And I was just like, what are we really doing here?
I needed all that. Because like some people are acting like they didn't need as much for the auction house. Like, no, I needed all that.
Well, no, that's fine. That's what I'm saying. Like, these last 3, that's
what
I'm talking about.
I see what you're saying.
That's what I mean. I'm like, this is fine. That's totally fine. But all the stuff leading up to it, I didn't need that. Sure. I didn't need it. I didn't need that whole arc. I just didn't need.
And like you said, for all the people who hate how it's been going, I'm hoping that it meets their expectation moving forward because they clearly set the table for season 2.
They
We
said,
get introduced to all these young kids.
And I feel like Tess is going to be involved in that group.
Interesting.
I do think she's going to be involved in that group because grandfather was like, hey, you being so focused on him started picking up something new, then you need to also be doing something too. So, like, you also need to get prepared and be ready. Because, yes, I get that she's not able to leave the Elf Kingdom because she's technically the next in line.
Sure.
But I feel like we're still setting the stage to be like, who is this next generation of, like, strong people? Because we already know that Tess is very strong. She's a prodigy, right?
Sure.
We already know this. So it's like, okay, so Arthur's already being surrounded by people his age who are prodigies. So he's got introduced to Tess. He got introduced to that one boy who's a human that was raised by the dwarves.
Oh, yeah. I like Elijah.
Yeah, Elijah saw it. He was like, hey, the way you went about it was bad. But if you didn't do something, I was going to do something. So I was like, cool. We're all in agreement that something had to be done.
Like, I thought that was cool.
That other kid can put in the book because he was trash.
Lucas Wikes.
Right, and he was like, he said, y'all having a meeting of, how come I didn't get the invite? We're just like, because we didn't want to invite you. You didn't put trouble. Like, don't you remember what had just happened? I was like, you attacked the prox.
Hey, I refrain from judgment. I am not putting him in the book yet.
He's trash, man.
We saw him punch the side. First of all, that's an epic scene. When
was.
they go ahead and hit the side of a tunnel, that means some stuff is going down in his head.
I know, Justin.
And now we finding out his mom may have possibly been a slave. I'm like, yo, I gotta wait. And then, more importantly, I'm a sucker for names. Just like how in Teogonia, we got the name of that young Mohawk kid. That's how I'm like, okay, he gonna play a role.
No, they all gonna play a role 100%.
No, I say all that to say, most people might have bypassed this. I have not forgot about Diane Whitehall. Okay, the human girl who was right before them, who earned C class. You know, you ain't just gonna give me a name and I ain't gonna write it down. So she gonna play a role.
She just keep the class and she's like, hey, I don't need to be like a B or whatever. She's like, I'm fine.
So yeah, I mean, I was okay with that. I also like we're starting to see the strength of the world.
Yes.
That Caspian guy, I was like, okay, he's a AA class sorcerer.
I was like, I appreciate that because you don't really see AA's that often. And I was like, hey, what's after AA?
This season is really giving us stuff. We got the Black Plate Adventurer and Old Country Bumpkin.
Absolutely.
Never happens. We got a AA. I'm like, cool. And then, yeah.
And I will say, I appreciate him knocking Arthur down in peg or two because he was like, hey, you need to quit being too confident. He was like, calming down.
The magic instructor similarly said the same thing.
Absolutely, because I'm just like, that's right, these are kids. Put them... They need to be handled accordingly, okay? This is crazy.
And I'm glad he like kind of set the parameters. He's like, listen, I don't want to be no prodigy. I'm not trying to get second. I'm not trying to get advanced, you know. I think it'll be better if I come to school with my age group.
That's true. And he said, and I do appreciate the fact that he was like, hey, in 3 years, I'll be back. He said, I want to travel the world. I'll be back. And I was like, cool.
I like the fact that the director straight up was like, she wants to train him personally.
She was
and win magic. I'm
absolutely.
Like, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But like you said, Arthur now has taken up the name Note. We are a B rank adventurer.
Which makes sense because the king and us got issues, and that's fine.
Okay. I thought
that's what they said. They're like, hey, so that people aren't able to track him.
Oh no, I got that part, but
yeah.
I was wondering like why Note. So I thought you were about to give me a breakdown on when you said it made sense. I was like, oh, tell me more.
No, it didn't. It didn't make any sense. I didn't like how we had it. I had to rewatch. I said, why do we have this mask? I said, another mask. I said, I don't have time for these masks.
I guess we look a certain way.
Something.
But yeah, you know, but it's building the world because we got Lucas Wikes. He's a half elf, so we might see more of the elven world or the slaving portion of it. We might see some of the dwarven kingdom because of Elijah.
Yeah.
And then, in classic fashion, credits happen. Bam. We see Jasmine walking around, and it just says 2 years later. And I'm like,
great,
cool. You know, and now people know us as the masked swordsman.
That travels with the Flamesworth. And that's fine. And I'm like, cool, we got 1 year left before we got to go to class.
Tessa spying on us.
Yeah.
You know, she wanted to be involved. And I'm surprised it ended there. So, I was really hoping.
I'm okay with how it ended. I feel like that is setting us up for season 2.
Right.
I just wish like I said.
I wish it was a continuation.
Yeah, it could have been a continuation.
Like start summer, let's get it going. But maybe it's best because summer is loaded. We gonna get to that a bit.
Yeah, they don't want that smoke.
Okay. Summer is
they don't want that smoke.
Loaded.
Okay.
For no reason.
All right, so what you rank it?
I mean, I guess I'll give it 8.5.
Okay. I mean, for me, it was like pulling teeth at times.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 because I don't know if I'm gonna get a season 2. Okay. And also, from my ranking, it makes me want to read the manhwa. That's what I'm saying. Because I'm just like, hey, what really happened?
Sure. What
really happened? Because I'm just like, if there's more information, they took out some really key points, and I'm just like, I can.
What if there? That's my biggest fear. Because granted, do I think my opinion is most important over some other people? Sure. Yeah. But if I read this manhwa and they haven't taken out any key important stuff and it's getting the bashing that it's getting, then a lot of people need to shut up.
A lot of people need to stop watching shows.
Yeah, because I'm like, so I'm really hoping it better be something there. Like, I think I'm going to actually read, which is a problem.
You don't do that. But for me, they're just different things. Like I have no questions. I have pacing issues. But all in all, I'm glad I watched the show. I think it's different. I'm excited to see what's gonna happen next. If there's a season 2, I will watch it because I really appreciate how they left it.
I like the intro too.
It's a good intro.
It was a pretty good intro.
It was a good intro. Not bad.
Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows.
Just a great show.
It's pretty good.
Just a good show all around. I'ma just,
let me hear it.
I'm just like, okay, I got what's that guy's name? He's off. Okay, Goldran. I'm glad that the show ended this way.
Okay.
I'm glad the show ended this way because it lets us know where we stand.
Sure.
In many different ways. Like, we don't care. At the end of the day, it's like, we in, we out. We don't care. We're not here forever. We're not trying to, be involved with y'all's school. We're not,
we're not here for a long time.
We're not here for a long time. He said, I'm already a practicing healer. I'm not here to prove anything, okay? I would say, I think I'm more just jumping because I really was thrown off by that curveball at the very end. I mean, at the end when we come to find out, Becker, how Becker has been moving and planning this whole time. And it was all for revenge at the end of the day. And I'm not mad at us being involved in a revenge plot. I'm really not, because it was really well done. It was really well done. But we finally got the answers that we needed. Like, who is Goldran? Why is Bonds the first secretary when he does absolutely nothing all day?
Yeah.
We finally learned that information.
I'm kind of a fan of Bonds.
I like Bonds because Bonds is like, I'm gonna get it where I fit in, and I'm just like 100%. So we finally learned about Goldran and how he is truly a fraud, and we've always known him to be a fraud, but it's been a fraud from the very beginning. And it just shows, it just goes into what I was saying before. He's truly a weak person. Because even at the end when Becker's like, hey, he poisoned everybody, put everybody to sleep or whatever, or poisoned everybody, he said, who you gonna save? Right? And then what does Goldran do? The first thing he does, he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and use my students that I have on my thing. And then Becker was like, that was the wrong answer. He said, you have the most life force out of everybody. You could have saved everybody. And I'm just like, yo, that's a true statement. So for me, I'm just happy how it ended. I'm glad that we're done with this. I'm glad that we're done. I was a little bit annoyed previously when, because we always said this, that the lizard leader's brother is always bringing trouble to our door all the time. What's his name? Zonde. Because of Zonde, we had to blow our cover and leave early. and had to jump down. And then for some reason, Crest was like, "I'm with y'all. I'm not staying here no more." And I was like, "We don't need you. You're not helpful at all."
I'm glad Crest did it.
I'm glad he left too, but I'm just like, he didn't have to come with us.
I'm not saying that. I'm glad he said it. By the time he showed up, because I always pause, right, and then continue when I should probably just watch all the way through. I went ahead and was like, appreciate the gesture, Perez, but what is Perez Wembley going to actually do to help? And then by the time he got there, we had already healed, and he was like, "Why did I even quit?" And I was like, and then Umi was like, "You're as stupid as ever," and I was like. Yeah. He's right. Like, why did you quit? It made no sense. But this is going to be unpopular.
Okay.
I want all of them in the book.
Who's
all the demi-humans. Because
that's not an unpopular opinion because I'm like, what are we doing?
I was like, oh my God.
I feel like there was no point or purpose for them to be in these last episodes, to be honest.
Well, there was no point. We are clearly on a mission. Hey, if you're afraid you guys might need medical attention, I don't know. Maybe don't go on missions. Don't do nothing while we're out.
That's a true statement too.
And then I try my best to stand by the lizard lady.
Because I will say she has the most common sense out of the three.
Sure, because the other two are ridiculous.
They are ridiculous, yes.
I have Umin clearly trying to get his attention, trying to speak with the guards, and then and he showed up on the balcony, so eventually he was about to come down. Yeah. And then these idiots go ahead and out of nowhere, I'm like, what's the point of y'all showing yourselves? We live in a world where you guys are scrutinized, like you showing up, and what happened? All you did was save, and that was the other thing. It's not like you saved time. It's not like it was life or death and y'all cut the time in half. Y'all was sitting here yelling an explanation, attacking guards. He still had to jump down to come there. You didn't even save time in this process.
I was just confused. What is Umin doing? Because I was like, was she not able to handle this?
Apparently not.
Because I was like, once again, who are these people? And with this school, I'm like, if y'all aren't able to do the bare minimum of healing people, what are y'all doing?
Why are you in this school?
Right. Because I was like, so I was disappointed in Umin because I was like, I said, you know that we're on a mission. You know that we're literally undercover to do said thing. So I'm like, why would you do anything that would jeopardize it? So I was really confused. Man. And I was like, I was like, why didn't you go to Professor Becker? I was like, he does potions and stuff. I was like, he gave himself a very rare disease and was able to heal him. So he had the antidote for it. So I'm just like, why did it have to be Xenos that you had to come to mess up the mission? So I felt like that was dumb.
I mean, also did some ignorant stuff where I was just like, you know what, that's what this whole shindig. Okay, and then I made it my point to bring this up. I was wrong, but I made my point anyway.
Okay.
Because as we were figuring out stuff, I was like, I put in parentheses. I was like, as I paused the show and made a salad, I cannot help but think, is Becker Alfred? At least or I just don't trust Becker.
I would say, I was like, is he the student that we're looking for? And then I was just,
right.
I was like, yeah. But then we're going to find out, no.
Right.
He's the conductor the whole time.
Well, that was the thing. That's why I was like, I just don't trust him, because when we were done with our mission, and I was like, no, why can't you tell us about our master right now?
Absolutely. Never heard of him. I was confused too. I said, we held up our end of the bargain.
Yeah, like, why do I have to come back tomorrow?
I was like, why?
Tell me right now.
I'm like, because that just says you don't know nothing. Yeah, that was, yeah. But I do wonder if that moment where the conductor Alfred, when we saw him in that photo amongst the kids or whatever, or the people, I wonder if that was his moment where he was like, I'm going to change and go to the dark side. I wonder if that was the moment.
Well, sure, because somehow he lived.
He did.
Because, yeah, I was just like, and then, I mean, like you said, the mastermind, because I started going back remembering, wait a minute, those random cases of wine, I guess that's what poisoned everybody. You know, Alfred Becker admitted it. He knew it was supposed to just paralyze people, but he knew that somebody tampered with it and made it poison. And he also was like, Alfred's probably going to strike. And then how it ended, you know, during the credits, it was like a mixture of actual credits and then stuff to be.
I know, because I thought I saw Till. Remember how you were just like, oh, I hope Till lives like a great life? And yeah, and then like, I think she knocked on the door to be like, hey. She did. Right, and I was just like,
cool.
I was like, great, Till time, 100%.
You know, then they show, we found out the guy that's Alfred, and they showed him with an assistant working on some stuff.
Yeah.
We also see, this random one guy. We see this looks like some type of fox breed like lady. I was just like, they were dropping enough stuff. I was like, oh, okay, there's a season 2. Like, a lot of these shows had ended just right where it's like, oh, season 2 possibility. And I'm for it.
Look, I'm for it. I just don't know. If we didn't get the second season of like the best or the wrong way to use your healing magic,
it's not out yet.
I mean, look, that's a great optimistic way to move, but I don't know, man.
It's coming.
Okay. But yeah, all in all, I enjoyed the show.
What you give it?
I'm gonna give this show an 8. I'm gonna give this show an 8 because I'm not here. I mean, because even though the 3 demi-human leaders were there, I'm glad that they were involved, but they didn't have too much screen time because we didn't forget what this was about.
Right.
Because it wasn't more like, you know, I'm just like, at the end of the day, he was like, hey, I'm an underground healer and this is my rate. And he's just like, this is what we doing. And I'm just like, cool, consistently doing the thing, saving the day.
Similar to what you said about prior shows. Because I want to give it higher.
Yeah.
But just like how you wanted more of the King's former life and the beginner and how you won certain things, I'm a little disappointed we didn't get more Camille background. So I'm only going to give it an 8.
You know what? I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that because there's a whole lot going on. Like, the fact that we went for the mission and, like, you know, all those ghosts and everything came, she was just like, it's me. And I'm just like, okay, we're not going to go any further about it? Sure. Got it. She's just like, that's just what it is. I'm the queen of all specters.
I would just love to more Camille.
She's great.
Less of the elf girl.
Lily?
Yeah.
I mean, Lily...
I'm not a Lily fan.
You know what, Sam? I am not... Isn't there another show with a Lily that we can't stand? Was it Golf?
Probably.
Was it Golf?
Oh, yeah. She's on that one.
Yeah, okay. I think her name's Lily, right? I think so.
Yeah, we can... Maybe it's just the name.
Maybe.
That immediately rubbed it wrong. So I'm just going to give it an 8.
Yeah, I mean...
Because I like a main character that's about standing on business.
He's consistent.
He's charging people. Like, he wants to find the guide / Alfred because he said he got quite a big bill to pay. And I'm like, I was like, yo, he ain't
that's his only motive. He's just like, I'm not here to stop what you're doing. I'm just saying, like, I need you to pay me and...
I mean, this bill's running up.
It is. It's getting high. I mean, I need to get a final tally. But okay, so yeah, that was that.
Okay.
I think we're continuing now, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Is that where you put Windbreaker? Is it continuing?
Well, for the season 2, but
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's where we
are. So Windbreaker, we're gonna get a season 3, but it's not gonna happen as soon as I think it is.
That's fair.
I don't really have much to say except for, like, we're getting more information about, so Frank is not a group. Frank is not... Alright, so a Windbreaker...
Like you said, Frank ain't a group.
Frank ain't a group. He just got cool tattoos, which is fine. It's fine. And I'm not mad at that.
Also, I never agreed about it being cool.
I'm just stating that he has a lot of tattoos. That's it. I
mean, it's like you said. There's not much here, and honestly,
it also just proves my point that these kids don't be going to like the school is just the building. They don't have classes. They don't have. It's just that's where they go. Because they were like, I was just disappointed. I was just like, they're like, yeah, he graduated before he left before I did. I said he didn't graduate, he just left.
Yeah, I don't. He left, right?
Anyways, go ahead. You were saying.
I mean, it's. So I guess people should have the opposite effect on this show, because I feel like this show drags out too long. Like, they'll have 2 to 3 sessions when it's a cool down period. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like...
I mean, I'm not mad at that, though, because I didn't see none of these kids go to the hospital. And I don't think they plan on it. So I think they do need a cool down moment.
I mean...
These kids... Like, Shuhei got messed up, okay? Like, head connect to concrete.
We learn about Yamato, which also seems like a pretty basic name we've run across before. Yamato, Endo, former Furion. And the only thing that was kind of cool is that he was like fighting all of them. When it was like Sakura, Sho, Kanji, Tsubaki. And then I love how he's told the dude, to Kanji, he's like, you're not even in Furion. like this isn't a your issue. He's like, this is a Furion matter. You're not even in here. And then I was like, okay. But yeah, you know, Ume summoned the 4 kings. Shigetsuta is always cool. And then we learned that the 4 kings didn't beat Yamato's group. They were fighting for the old way Furion, and then we get the backstory, because Yamato was telling Sakura that he doesn't belong, and I'm glad we had a villain who called it out. They all were cutting him off. How dare you say this? He's like, let me finish.
He did say that. He was like, can we have some manners? Like, keep it classy.
And come to find out, he's right. Yamato.
And he was like, it's not. He said, I'm not saying it in a bad way. He said, I'm actually complimenting you as a
And Yamato let us know, and it's full circle. When Windbreaker started, Sakura came to the school to be the top.
He did.
And that was how the old Furion was ran. And after that, it was like, okay, so this is what he actually wanted to begin with.
It's true.
And we find out that those who believed in that method, they left both Furion because how they were changing it up. And then we also find out that we find out how the lure went of the school, but that's how it was told. They never actually defeated the old group.
It's true. They just went their separate way.
Right. And there was one more legend that's never been mentioned, and that's Chika Takeshi.
Yep.
Who is the strongest person in both Furion history. I mean, so basically we watched 3 episodes to find out that information and how that one group who was coming to get her, that one group from, I think they called themselves Gravel, you know, Kanji's gonna get them jobs. You know, so
that's about it. You know, so, you know, Shuhei only just wanted to play video games. That was it. You know.
I mean, teach their own.
Yeah, teach their own. Yeah, so, you know, we're just, you know, the world of it's expanded. It's expanded. So I just wonder what's going to happen next. Because before it was like, hey, we're going against these different schools or different groups. And now it's like, the main people we really need to go up against is just these 2 people. Because I feel like these 2 are just these 2. I don't think they run in with anybody else.
I think when they were showing the silhouette to people, I thought it was at least 5 people.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I feel like Yamato and Chiaki are just, it's like those 2 just they renegades, they're doing their own thing.
Sure.
And I feel like the other people that were mentioned that they didn't defeat, they will come up. They will be present, but I don't think they're all together as a group. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're all doing their own thing.
They're all doing their own thing. They're all doing
Because, I mean, again, it's a strong hierarchy.
Yes.
That's what they believe in. Okay.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that's it. So, Windbreaker.
I guess it's my turn.
Yes.
I left my A-Wing party.
Why do you sound disappointed? You used to love the show. Has it fallen out of your good graces now? Oh wait, what are we ranking on Windbreaker? I'm gonna give it 7.5.
I said my low score, 7.
Well, I'm gonna give it 7.5.
I feel like Windbreaker's got this thing that it only keeps being good with the tease. Like, it's just the tease at a party. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm tired of the cooldowns. And then it hypes me back up when they introducing these boss people.
You know what? You know what I want from what I truly want from Windbreaker season 3?
What's that?
I want a 24, so we can just keep it moving. Because I feel like this show actually has the potential to like go the distance. Because I know that they have from the manga. I know that they have arcs.
You know what I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Is actually go finish Tokyo Revenger.
I mean, look, I'm down for us to have a conversation about it because it's one of the shows that I can't stand.
Right.
And it's
apparently new seasons about that.
And I believe that. And I'm just like, how long has it been? And so, you know, I'm more than happy to discuss Tokyo Revenger. I feel like it's a show that...
I just don't want to badmouth Tokyo Revenger...
I don't mind badmouthing it.
Before I catch up. Because already graphics-wise, visually-wise...
It's superior.
Windbreaker is better.
Well, hold on. Let me think about that.
I like Windbreaker. Especially the same thing.
I don't know. I appreciate Tokyo Revenger's style because I haven't seen that style that often. Okay. So I feel like they're having a new style and how they're doing it. And then 2, I feel like the fashion in Tokyo Revengers as it's continued because I'm pretty caught up. I didn't watch the last bits of the previous season because I'm getting annoyed, so I had to take a pause. Right. But I feel like they're up there with how Bleach was on it with fashion. Tokyo Revengers is up there with fashion. So
I mean, the main character really got me uninterested.
Absolutely, I was never watching the show for him.
But you know, like I remember Mikey.
Mikey. Yeah, he's the reason for everything.
Mikey reminds me because wasn't the other kid's name Mikey in this one? For the first school we went to, Sakura fought the second in command, and Ume had fought the kid. He reminded me of Mikey.
Well, no, I feel like this Chiaki person is reminding me of Mikey.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just thought that because they both were short. This guy's not short.
Well, no, I'm just saying about like how they move or what. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll see. But when it comes to this one, no, it's I mean, I can't stand so many people.
I left my A-rank party.
Yeah.
Okay, well, who can't you stand? Are you adding more people to the book?
Oh my gosh, who's already in here? I mean, I start off by just saying, you know, I really can't stand rain. Okay, so first of all, only Thunderpike is
okay, interesting. Well, that makes sense. Really? I thought we were a rain stand for a minute. Well, no, it took a turn when we got to that town and then she left with her uncle. That was the part. I was like, what are we doing?
And I want to clear something up. That is what the pod has
that was the final straw for me. I was like, what are we doing?
I've never been a stand.
That's interesting. I thought you were like, y'all better not
put up with it.
Okay, because you're just like, they better not kidnap her. I thought that was what it was.
And but that was partially because of her own ignorance.
Okay.
Like, she better not get kidnapped because she's stupid.
That's what it was. Right. Silk. You were just like, they better not do nothing to Silk.
Oh, I love Silk.
Silk's the real one, though. Second in command.
Like, when they came out with that award, out of nowhere, by the way, but because I don't remember it in the last year, yada yada yada, to protect like this Silk. You know, you gotta protect Silk.
Yeah.
So I can't stand Rain
mm-hmm.
because she over here. I don't know if we should just hear your notes because my notes is just like attacks.
Go ahead, it's fine. I'm curious to see these attacks. It's fine. I'll just plug and chug. It's fine.
She went ahead putting her arms out like a child to get picked up. And you know, and I'm glad.
You're talking about Jamie.
Yeah, I'm glad Jamie put her on blast.
Jamie put them both on blast. She's like, what are y'all doing? And then everyone's like, they always like this, man.
So that she can see, you got magic. Levitate. Your ass can levitate and then do it.
That's literally what she was saying. She was like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah, I saw Jamie standing there, not that taller than Rain, but not that much taller, and was able to see the surroundings.
Yeah, because they were just like, "Oh, she needs a higher viewpoint," and then she looked like, "Okay."
And then she wonders why people call her, like the prince called her, your child wife. Well, when you're gonna behave like a child,
oh my God,
you're gonna get treated as such.
Oh my God.
You know, I can't stand right now. It's just, it angers me. Some actual information. Okay. We saw some shadow stalkers.
We find out who they actually are. People who touched the tenebrae. We can't. Oh, I can't stand the prince's second brother. He's the worst.
Well, he's a loser.
He is.
In a lane.
He is.
And he barely got any FaceTime. So we're fine.
Okay.
Once we got in, oh my God.
I will say Yuke was working my nerves from his impatience with some stuff. There was the time where like the guild master was like, "Hey, this is supposed to be the plan. This is gonna take about 2 weeks to get all this stuff situated." And Yuke was like, "Well, let's go now." And he was like, "Yo, you need to chill it. Like, calm it down."
Say the word, because
okay. I'm down to put Yuke in the book. I am, because like he was starting like, yeah, he was kind of working it. I was like, what's going on?
I think I am mad about, the only thing I'm mad about this season is I have not liked a lot of main characters.
I mean, one of the people that you couldn't stand is finally gone.
Who's that?
Rune.
Don't listen. My note gonna get there.
Okay.
Well, that's why I'm also angry that there's a season 2. Because it's almost like they're going to find a way to bring her back.
I don't think they're going to bring her back.
Oh, did you forget the last episode?
I
when
did.
That punk Rain showed up with that little thing saying it's pointing toward Rune. So,
I'm just like, of course it is. She is, yeah, she's part of the ethers of
right,
the
can be everywhere.
Now. Right. I was like, in another dimension, the gates closed. I'm just like, yeah.
But yeah, when we was in Team Bray, as we were trying to escape, when we figured out they're all connected, I once again can't stand Yuke. Like, there's just been so many things, but he said, well, we're going to make a plan. They probably are shadow stalkers. Let's just keep walking. And this clown, I'm like, okay, they walk, the girls are walking, just keep walking. This fool start interacting with the fake Thunderpike.
Mm-hmm.
Like, grow up.
I know, even Jamie was like, hey, another time. Another line. I appreciate this Jamie because she's a realist. I was like, you know what? I'm glad she's a part of the team. Where's the right team? Riddle me this. How do you feel about Saga, his uncle? Because
no problem.
You have no problem with him? Okay. Because I feel like he just came in and out from nowhere, and I was like, okay, we're all accepting this, and this is fine.
Oh, you question that? I ain't got no problem with a hero doing stuff behind the scenes, showing up in and out. You know what I do have a problem with? I put it in capital letters. I said, first of all, what's the secret? Question mark. But I said, okay. We just not gonna acknowledge that Rune is just glowing behind everybody.
That's so true.
It's just happening.
It's just, we've accepted it. I was like, well, hey, look, Rune was in those planning meetings, okay? So
don't get me started. There was plenty she did. Like, first of all, when we get into the place, mm-hmm. I can appreciate a classic. The old heads were clearing the path for the party. You know,
that made sense. It was good. I was actually, from that moment, I said, I want more of this. I want 100%. More shows where it's like adventurers who have been in the field for decades that are still out here handling business. Because I love it. Marmar was like, Nana, you got like 100 years, if that, to start worrying about me. Right. And I was like, 100%. Just because they're the newest.
Like the fact that they're asking questions. So.
Yeah. I was just like a little shocked. I was just like, but I was like, more of this. More of like actually experienced adventurers who've been out in the field. And they're just like, yeah, we're in our 40s and 50s.
I would love an anime that come out like that. You
absolutely.
Know, like,
that was great. They're just like one's a guild master, all this. I'm just like, but they still out doing the work. They in the field. I think that's great.
It could be titled Adventuring, still at it. You know, like
I watched that.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, more of this. Even when the sorcerer came back, they're just like, oh no, the old man is back.
Yo, he showed up. Now he showed up out of nowhere.
And then they're just like, Saga. I mean, listen. He was
At least they was telling it. They said Saga up ahead. You know? Saga working on things. Like, we have been told.
Yes.
But no. And then after I seen that, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I wanted to put, and then at this point, I wanted to put the whole party in the book. Because.
Even still?
This was embarrassing.
Okay.
They talking about that steel crab. They were like, oh, this time we'll be able to help instead of when you had to take it down by yourself. That fool still helped. I'm like, where is the growth? We started with y'all not being able to do nothing to that steel crab. Mm-hmm. You needing to be the one to put it down.
Yeah.
And now y'all doing all types of strong attacks.
On the steel crab.
On the steel crab that one person took down previously. Where's the growth? Why do y'all need this?
I don't know. I don't know.
And then after you defeat the crab, which again, I'm okay with the inventory check. We like, is everybody okay? Room don't go ahead and say, I'm fine. Yeah, you don't do nothing.
Look, she has another role, okay? She had another role, and
then I almost turned off the last episode. Like, it was, I'm like selfish. Like, these, like, that's all it is. I don't think
it was selfish. I think it made sense that Rune was the one who closed the door.
Oh, no. I'm talking about the party being selfish.
Oh.
Saga and you came up with a plan.
I was like, Saga died, y'all. And that's the thing that killed me. I said, we just left him there and kept walking. I said, we gonna acknowledge this?
Where was the tears for Saga?
Right. I was like, what's going on? I was really shocked by that.
But you said how he was gonna have to stay. He was going, and instead of talking, just use the darn portal. Just send him with the scroll. Why are we talking?
But I was like, no, it's fine, because that's in that moment, Rune was able to do what she needed to do. And that was fine. And I think it made sense. They're just like, no, we were supposed to do this thing together. And I was like, no. I said, she was never of this world in the first place. She was never in the world in the first place. And she even admitted it earlier. Like, her world was the harbinger of the calling in the first place. That's just what it was. And so we come to find out that her powers is like the power of wish. And I'm just like, so why would... I was like, of course. I was like, what are we doing? I was like, what are you doing? It's like, of course she was going to be the one to stay and close it. She's literally someone who has lived in multiple dimensions. I was like, what are you talking about?
Why are we not keeping this class? Okay, first of all, we still streaming.
Yes. I said, why is everybody in our business?
Right. Idiots.
I was like, the world needs to know?
And that's why I said they're selfish. First of all, if the world needs to be saved, and you can saying, this is what I got to do, and he wants y'all to live, that's it. Okay? So, putting all these emotions out here for the world to see, let's do that behind closed doors. Okay. Grow up. And then, Rune sacrifices herself. And then, in the public, we over here... don't tell us your regrets and what you were supposed to do. You didn't care. You wanted to care that you couldn't be the one to close it. Like, somebody's got to do it.
Because none of them was going to close it.
You're going to lose somebody.
And I was like, y'all were willing to lose Rune over you. And that's just what it was. That's just what it was.
I know what the fan base probably wanted. They probably thought they were supposed to be Jamie. Because, Jamie was newly to the group. Supposed to be a part of Thunderpipe.
No, Jamie's turning her life around. No,
right.
Jamie's not going.
What y'all want? They wanted the old heads to be the one to do it? Like, somebody was going to have to sacrifice themselves. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I'm glad they showed the townspeople. Because they looked like we all felt. This is awkward.
It is. Why? They don't know what's happening. They're like, what is this?
Creeps. So, yeah. And then the way it ended, I'm like, really?
I mean, they set us up to be able to have a season 2, which makes sense.
I felt like they didn't.
They did, because now we find out that Silk is actually, but this ties back to what they were saying before. Like when Thunder Park, when that the guy that was trash, because they're and how severe it was. They're just like, no, you don't understand the fact that you said it to this person publicly. You know, you really actually are damaging relations, because they knew the whole time that she was a dark elven princess the whole time. So I was like, okay, you're leaving these breadcrumbs here.
It definitely sets up.
It definitely sets up. So that just means I'm like, cool, got it, 100%. So I feel like that makes sense. And then we also did. I feel like we truly didn't even accomplish what the prince had wanted us to do. Really?
I mean, he's been recognized.
But we didn't really like conquer, because he was supposed to go in there with us. Remember? And so I'm just like, so does this give us another opportunity where we're actually going to explore another dungeon with him? What's going on? So I feel like they did set up the scene for us to have.
I mean, they set up the scene season 2 for sure with us just being on the boat. I would have preferred if it was just Heron and Silk at first.
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing everybody's here, and I'm just like, of course, Rain over here stealing kisses or whatever, and everybody like, no fair, you know, like, and that's who the other audience is for.
But then Jamie comes out, she's like, they're womanized and they always have been. And then he's just like, what? And she's like, that's who you are.
They're going to cause political issues.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you this right now.
Because technically him and Rain are actually married, I thought.
Well, it's something to be, that was for paper purposes and should be getting rid of. Because guess what? When we see if there's any interaction between him and Silk, and then I see these other harlots trying to make a move, then it's going to offend the Dark Elf people, and now we're going to have a crisis.
We're going to have a crisis. My other question is this. Are we never going to see Lady Persephone again?
Right. What's the purpose of this power?
Right, because
that's just going to take his life hand a bit.
It is, and I'm just like, hey, even though we closed the gate, I know aren't we still able to engage with other things? So I'm just confused. So I was confused because like it was because of her power that they were able to be in.
Even as Uncle Saga and the Pale, like this is the thing, and now you know what this means. Depending on how long this elf arc go, I wouldn't be surprised if it's season 3, and you know. She come and get her property, which is you. And now they got to come out there and save him.
Well, no, it's everybody, because now they all have the stigmata now, right?
I took it as...
I was like, do they all have it? Or do they all...
I took it as, like, he gave traces of it to them. That way they won't be affected. Like, she didn't mark their aunt. You know, she didn't mark them.
I know, she didn't.
I had to catch myself.
She don't know. She don't know them from time.
She don't know them.
She don't know them.
So that's why I'm just like, you know what? She probably going to eventually come get her property. And then there's going to be the girls trying to go save you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we going to see.
All right, so what do you rank it? Because you started off strong with this show.
It was until it became it became a show for a different audience.
It did. It did.
I didn't need all that.
Yeah, this show definitely didn't need all the heart harem elements at all.
In my heart, I feel like I should give it a 6.
Okay, so I'll give it a 6.
Season 2 also just got announced. There's an audience. I can't stand Rain or Room.
Mm-hmm.
I like Nene Time. I like Jamie's story.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna ever meet Jamie's brother?
I had somebody. I mean, I know he's being taken care of. That much we do know.
I like the old heads getting that work. Mm-hmm. And then there's Silk. I'll give it a 7.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Best I can do.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5. All right, cool. I think we're at Apothecary Diaries.
Sounds about right.
Man, what a show!
Can't stand that old bag.
Wait, who's Shoemade? Wait, wait. Yeah, Shumei?
Shemale?
I think it's Shumei. It is, yeah. Because we got all the names.
What other old bags are there? Is there an Apothecary Diary?
I thought we put those twins in there, or those cousins in there.
Let me go from the beginning.
Because we got Shimei, and we got Lulan.
You put Lulan in there?
Well, no, I thought we did put Lulan in there, or when she was Shisui.
I definitely wanted her in there. I'm gonna try to find the page.
And then you talk about old bags. I thought she meant that Shinlu, that one older lady who used to be like one of the nurses.
Yeah, she trash too.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, but Shinmei is a menace to society. Yeah. We got Sure.
I like going through the book. Like, Sweet Reincarnation would be cool when they come back out.
Let's see. Yeah, so basically we pick back up where we left off. Like, we're here. They've made like hold on, wait a minute. Let me get it together. Because now we haven't gone by another name yet, but we're thinking about it. So Jinshi and them they here. They there. We're at the stronghold. They're here to take everybody out because previously we learned, that, the kids are put to sleep and everything else. Like, it's a whole thing. Everything's unfolding. Lulan is, like, moving and doing all the things that need to be done while everything's happening.
There's no Apothecary Diaries in this thing.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Well, I mean, it's such a good show. That makes sense, so it's fine. So basically, they're storming they're storming the stronghold, and, we're here to handle business. Like, we got all the accounts that, they've been embezzling money. They tried to do a coup. They captured Mao Mao.
The Moon Prince don't mess around.
He don't mess around. And so, we're here to handle business. That's basically it. So we come across Mao Mao, and she basically explains the situation with the kids and everything. And she's like, hey, just if it's possible, let them be able to at least be buried with, like, their families and stuff like that. And then Whatchamacallit's like, we'll see. Like, I don't know. And then they continue to go on. So then Jinshi's like, hey, I'm going to keep moving forward. You take Mao Mao out of here. And then he goes to find Lulan, Shinmei, and that lame Sure, and
who's the lame person?
The guy, the husband.
Oh.
What's his name? He's awful. I mean, I kind of felt bad for him at the end, but not as much. Shisho. No, is it Shisho?
Yeah,
Shisho. Yeah, so, he's going to embark upon them, and so they make it through all the rooms and stuff, and then the the mothers of the kids are like, we didn't do anything, and then What's gonna, like, handle this? Like, I don't have time for this. We gotta go find these people. So then he keeps going, comes across a secret passageway, and Lulan's like, hey, come with me, she has a FIFA, and he follows her, because he's like, obviously she got something to tell me, something to show me, so we go to a whole separate room. And, wait, did she kill? No. Before that, they killed, Shisho.
Yeah, that's why I was like, whoa, what?
I mean, because it was okay. Like, I could have lived without it, because I don't think he was that important. For me, I didn't really see him as that uber important.
Well, he was very important.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was a very important character, but he wasn't as important to me. I was like, come on, I wanted to see the demise of Shinmei. I was like, let's move forward past this. But basically, going back, so Shisho is there. He addresses Jinshi and his troops, and he has a FIFA.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So, Lady Shinmei is in the book.
She's in the book.
Lao Lang, Shishu, whatever she want to call herself.
Lulan, Shisui, yeah.
She's in the book.
She's in the book.
Because what she did to those kids was the final straw.
Yes.
I mean, now they made it very clear, even the soldiers, when they came and picked us up, that, they're basically resting them, because he said it don't matter if it was women or children, what was going to happen.
Right.
That's fine. There's been several. This is still season 2, technically, right?
Yeah.
After all of this that you've seen, what is your stance, or how do you feel about Saray now?
I still feel bad for Saray. And I still feel bad for her, but because it makes sense now, like who she was working for. And like we come to find out later on as Lulan, because Lulan's great. What I like about Lulan is that she's been very observant and she knows all the stuff. So she knows the business.
She was dropping knowledge.
She was dropping a lot of information.
She was dropping some knowledge.
She was dropping backstory about her father, because she was like, "Hey, how was his final moments?" He was like, he was laughing.
She did it all.
She did it right. But it goes back to saying, like, this whole time, like, because my biggest thing was, like, what's her motive? Why is she like this? Why is she mean? All these other things. Why is she acting this way? And, we come to find out, she got it really rough.
She's getting abused.
And then we come to find out later, because this is actually my question later, actually. So I'll pause that for a second. Okay. But I still can't stand her. Because at the end of the day, they didn't have to bring Mau Mau. Because I still don't understand why she was brought in the first place.
Mau Mau literally was trying to ask the question at the end, is why'd you bring me here?
Right, and
to Lulan.
Right, and no one gave me that answer. So it just lets me know that this was all going to happen with or without Mau Mau, and she wasn't necessary. And so my thing was like, are you just getting her involved because you're being spiteful from earlier when you two, like how you two engaged in the inner palace or the rear palace? I was like, is that what this is about? But I was just like, there was no real reason why Mau Mau was here, and yeah,
I didn't shut her up because she did stumble across everything, the big picture. Granted, now if they really realized,
look, but Mau Mau's not into like knowing too much information. She's just
but
like,
they don't know that.
She prefers like, this is none of my business.
They don't know that.
She immediately figured out who the prince was, but immediately shut out her mind. She was like, never mind. She said, I don't need to know this information, so I'm going to pretend that I don't know what this is.
I'll tell you what's really unpopular.
What's unpopular? You want to put Jinshi in the book?
Yeah, right.
Oh, you said unpopular. You said really unpopular. I said, that's really unpopular.
Unpopular would be Mau Mau in the book.
I mean, she's been doing some stuff where I'm just like, hey.
She's also been doing quite a bit of stuff where she gets distracted just over stupid ingredients and all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
And she even said, oh, wait, Master Jinshi was trying to tell me something important. But Ox Brazen
is more important.
It's dangerous. Like, no, you're ignorant. You're a hostage. Just because they show you all these books, you're, and having no, you're ignorant. I'm tired of this whole, this pursuit of knowledge is just so, and then don't give me the whole thing about.
It's just like her father, though. It's just like who her biological father is. He's the exact same way. He's the exact same way. Same thing with his adopted son. The exact same way. So I'm just like, I can't sit here and be like, oh, she's the only anomaly when she's not. When there's many people in this court who are the exact same way. Okay? So that's
it's annoying.
I'm not saying that it's not. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, Mau Mau's able to put 2 and 2 together. But in this situation, she was able to put 2 and 2 together because this was like stuff that was going on before she even knew about it. Okay?
Before she was involved.
Yeah, before she was way involved. But anyways, going back to what Lulan, she was just dropping all this information. But going back to the thing about Saray, my question is, at the end, did they not kill her because she's basically
she has immortal blood?
Well, yeah, she's part of the royal family. Right. And so I was just like,
she killed her.
I don't think, so I was just like, wow. Because I was a shocker. I was like, man, I wasn't ready for that one. I thought I did before, but no, something about it this time.
What was with the dance?
I mean, I think it was just like Jinshi said, he was like, hey, this is the end of the last evil generation, so I'm going to let her dance. I mean, I think dancing is important. Like when Mau was dancing for her parents, like their wedding or whatever, even though she don't know them and she don't like them, she was just like, out of respect, I know what happens when at the brothels, like this is what we do. We dance when someone gets like married off, right. And that's what she did. So I think that's the same thing here with the northern clan. Is like they dance, And like, her father died and her mother died.
We found out.
Everyone died. So she said, at least I can dance. She got to do what she wanted to do. This whole time, she's been a puppet this entire time.
It still threw me off guard when they the same person.
That was wild. I was like, man, that was a getcha gotcha I was not expecting.
And then she scratched Genshi's face.
And then whatchamacallit got punished for it.
Yeah, he gonna get punished for it.
And Genshi was
let it happen.
Yeah, he was like, I know someone's gonna get punished for this, but I had to let her do it. I said, I don't think you had to.
Right.
I was like, we don't owe Shinmei anything at all. I was like, she's been horrible this entire time to every person she's come across. I thought Lulan was gonna backhand her mom from like because she was like, hey, did she stop, abusing you when I was gone? Because I think she was gonna be like, if she hasn't, like, it's gonna be these hands.
I didn't like this dad only in regards to when he came in and saw it's like she's done this numerous times. It's like, yeah, abuse is happening in your household and you're not acknowledging it.
And I was like, the part, even going a step further, I was like, this is someone who's actually of an imperial royal blood and you're letting it happen.
Right, how
you know her lineage for real. So I was like, she technically outranks all of y'all, and you're letting it happen. You're letting it happen.
And I didn't care for, those kids is running around not knowing, their moms, their parents their moms are just being drugged and now at the end I was like, well, wait, are they being drugged or they're just enjoying it? I don't know, but they don't matter. They're all dead now.
Well, I mean, yeah, that was crazy. Just a good show. There was just so much happened.
Yeah, but again, that dance came out of nowhere. All right, so is it over?
What? Apothecary Diaries? Absolutely not. Oh, this season? Yeah, this season's done. Okay. I think, this season's done.
That's a weird number, 47?
Oh, wait, no, I think there might be one more episode. I think, because this show drops on Friday.
Okay.
So when we do we'll do another episode for Vigilantes and Apothecary.
Closing comments, got it.
Because that makes sense. We'll do closing comments.
All right.
Yes. But I already know what I'm going to rank it, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
I do. I'm going to give it a 9. Okay. All right, but last but certainly not least, One Piece.
See, this closed show, we haven't done a over 2 hour one in a long time.
I mean, there's a lot, but we're getting to the end of the season.
Right.
It's the end of the season. It's bound to happen, so it's totally fine. So, yes.
We got information.
As we always do. And this, I'm going to say this because this is just a note. Over this past week, I had a conversation with someone who likes anime. And they were like, oh my gosh, what's your favorite anime? And I was just like, and then the first thing they said was like, don't say One Piece. And I was just like, it's One Piece, but I've been watching One Piece since the 90s, okay? So I was like, I'm a true One Piece fan, okay? So, and then they were just talking to me about how they can't stand One Piece, but they never watched it. And so I was just like, okay. I was like, I'm not trying to put people on the One Piece. I don't try to put non-believers on the One Piece. Sure. Because that's a waste of my time. I'm not going to try to prove to you that this is one of the best world-building shows in the world and they've been able to do it over 20 years. Like, that takes skill and talent and craft. And I was like, if you just want to watch you at 24, go do that. There's nothing wrong with that. They're great 24 shows. One Piece isn't for everybody. So people need to stop trying to make One Piece for everybody because it's not. And also another unpopular opinion, apparently on the word, this should have been in the news, but apparently in the remake, they're seriously condensing all of the previous arcs, which I'm not a fan of.
You mean like live action?
No, like the actual and like how they went with the new studio. Okay. So like the first season, even though it's like 60 something episodes or like 100 something episodes, they're dropping it down to like 38 episodes. And I was like, so now so I think moving forward for the remake, they're trying to condense it to like where it's like 30 episodes per arc, which I think is a bad idea, but
okay,
it's a different type of One Piece fan, but that's fine. That's fine.
I don't know if I'm supposed to just keep adding check marks.
Okay.
Do I elevate them to the hate book?
You can.
But once again, these celestial dragons. So we find out Jenny's been abducted, and as soon as it starts, now we know by whom. A celestial dragon had his eye on Jenny.
Yep.
And she was abducted.
While she was in the Revolutionary Army.
Yeah. And now she's been abducted to become his wife.
Yep. And from this, she has Bonnie, and we come to learn that she had this disease.
Sapphire.
Scales. And my question is this: did she get it from being with the celestial dragons, or was it something that was like actually genetically within her?
I'm gonna take it one step further.
Okay.
I feel like they always show us information for a reason.
Yes.
Is Bonnie simply the first rendition, the first attempted clone? The fact that she resembles Jenny so much, she has this rare disease that hardly anyone gets. Mm-hmm. She has the same disease that Jenny has. It just comes off, was Bonnie the first attempt of the clone project, and she's essentially a clone of Jenny? That's what I'm worried about.
I don't think so. I think that because even though Vegapunk is great, he's not, I don't think his skills are there to the point where he's able to create a clone who's able to, at that time, who's able to create a clone of someone who's able to utilize a devil fruit. In the sense of the matter of like, because she was given the age, we never found out how she ate it, which was crazy.
Exactly.
Which was right. Well, I see where you're trying to go. Because you're just like, there's a moment between Jenny on the ship with this baby. You're just like, did it happen while she was up there and she ain't know about it?
It had to.
Something, right? But I don't think Vegapunk's there yet. I don't think at that time he was able to. Because, I don't know, something about it with the fruits. I feel like the fruits don't work out.
All we know is that no-name person from the Sorbet Kingdom was just like, the age fruit, and they said, when did she eat it?
Right, 100%. And I think that's a great question. But that is a thought. I wouldn't be surprised.
And then all the old people are like, she's going to be a glutton just like Jenny was.
Right.
So, and they didn't say anything. We never saw Jenny swimming. But did Jenny already ate the age fruit? And that's why she's always hungry. Hence, Bonnie went ahead, as the first steps of clone, also took on that ability.
I don't know. I mean, it could have been like while she was trying to survive out in the world on the sea.
Well, the other thing is,
she could have ate it in that in between time, because that's the other thing. Like we haven't seen on One Piece babies eating devil fruits and how long it takes for that power to manifest. So also, I'm just saying that's a thought.
If she had the gene. Mm-hmm. Why wasn't she as covered up as Jenny, or why wasn't the thing wasn't spreaded on the baby Bonnie while they were out on sea as well?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I was confused about when did Jenny get this disease from, like, just coming how it just shows up later in life?
Right.
Or did she get it from, like, being with celestial dragons? Because we know that they do all types of torturous things to people up there.
At first, I thought they were just putting jewels in her.
That, too. And they're just like, wow.
Sickos.
They're the worst. They're the absolute worst. So I don't know. I feel like that's why I was just we definitely need answers, and I feel like we're gonna get them.
But I agree with you only because Jenny was clearly outside when she was living with Kuma this whole time when they were kids. He didn't have to board up the windows when they were living
I was like, why don't we just get curtains? But I was like, why are we being so dramatic? But I get it. It's fine.
And then we find out it's all natural light. It can be the moon. And we find out even if you protect yourself, it's still going to naturally go ahead and take place. Yeah. Here's the other kicker.
Okay.
There had to be a scientist before Vegapunk. Who's to say That's not the cause of it. Who is to say that they're... Oh, well, don't forget, we know that this old man was the original, is supposed to be like a director of science. Maybe he started this cloning thing while he's with these celestial dragons.
Yeah.
What if there's a celestial dragon scientist up there figuring out stuff? It ain't just Vegapunk. Now...
I mean, that's a thought, too. I mean... That's a thought too. I don't know.
And then, I think you already did. You had already put that king in this book.
Yeah, he was trash. I thought I put the King of the Sorbet Kingdom in there.
Yes.
Okay.
It's something plus King Bakar. He had it again. Now he trying to burn the whole...
He the worst.
Honestly, I wanted to say put Kuma in the book. Why didn't Kuma kill him the last time? Then this time he could have killed him. And then we find out he's still alive. Like, I thought Kuma killed him when he stopped the fires. He had that big beam and hit him.
Yeah.
And based off of that man's age, I figured the impact alone would have killed him.
Yeah, because I'm tired of him beating up his elderly citizens.
But
enough's enough.
When Kuma is named king, he come back with the Navy. And he's like, yeah, that's the tyrant who took my kingdom. I'm like, how are you still alive?
Lord
like,
knows.
It don't make sense.
Lord knows.
Like, Kuma killed this fool. He's a menace. He's literally a menace to society.
He really is.
Also, I thought it was ignorant. How didn't they remember who Kuma was? Like, the guards was like, who is this dude? And then the king was like, hey, calm down, big man. And he's like, I'll give you that place where I just burned. You know, it's like, it's the same dude. Yeah, he's a bit bigger. But I was like, what is this?
And then I was confused when Vegapunk was like, oh, you're a buccaneer. And he was like, yeah, I don't know what that means. And he was like, clearly Vegapunk knew what it meant, but he was just like, I need more samples or whatever. So I was annoyed with Vegapunk in that moment. And I was like, do I want to put you in the book? I was like, a little bit, because, like, you didn't have to use this as an opportunity to, like, create clones of Kuma. I was like,
apparently it was already in the works, but he just has the best body for it.
Right.
I'm annoyed with Vegapunk because Bartello pointed it out. How have you not done a sweep of your facility? Like, how are you being watched? Like, this is a joke. Mm-hmm. I also feel like Kuzan Bartello is trash, too. Like, dude, don't be here showing up, drinking with everyone, doing the Nika dance, like back then in the day. Like, nah, dude, you still an admiral. Get your punk self out of here.
Out of here.
You know, and those conditions sucked, by the way. It sounded like it was 3 conditions. It turned into 5. I was like, this is getting out of hand. I did like the full circle, though. When he was looking for a doctor, he sent the Straw Hat crew to places he's been before.
Yeah.
He went to all those places looking for help. That's where he sent them. I was like, oh, cool, full circle moment. I like it.
See, there we go. World building. That's how we see, and that's how you do it.
And that's what beginning to the end is doing. You know, so we getting there.
Like I said, if beginning to the end was a 24, I don't think I would have been as annoyed. I think it just didn't have enough episodes.
We haven't had enough about her, but I kind of want Alpha in the book. Like, don't be threatening to snap kids' necks. You know name, but you know y'all better take care of her too. You know that was the arrangement.
That's true. We'll see.
So I mean it was some pretty sad stuff.
Yeah. The
build up, and then how, like you said, it would have been one thing. If Kuma they took his samples, if he became, you know, a warlord, this is all fine. But when that sicko old man was like, no, you also gonna become a living human weapon. I'm like, come on, man. Like,
I was like, what's going on?
Like,
what's this about?
Why though? And I'm still waiting for when is he gonna extract his consciousness? Mm-hmm. Because we know that has taken place.
But I will say this, we can now confirm that Bonnie is a child still.
I was constantly looking for
timestamps.
I
also was looking for timestamps too, but
the last thing we got would be she's at 6. Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm like trying to see, because now at that also time.
Because remember Kuma was a warlord before he ended up becoming the pacifista, like before they were met. And so I was like, okay, so this is still within like where Luffy and them are out in the world.
Well, not even that. I was trying to think, when did they become pacifist? Like what year did the pacifistas come out?
I feel like we saw mainly of them when they were going at the archipelago.
Now here's the other kicker that I figured. That's why I'm like, is she truly still a child?
I feel like she's a child. I think she's at least under the age of 10. I don't think she's a teenager.
Well, she hasn't hit 10 yet. I agree.
So I feel like she's under the age of 10.
What was the thing they showed Luffy as a kid hitting that tiger? So it's like, how old was he then?
Yeah.
Because I have a 6-year-old Bonnie.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
No, these are good questions.
So I need more time.
We need more time, but I feel like we can safely say that Bonnie is still a child.
Right now, she is not 10. It has not reached her 10th birthday.
She has not reached her 10th birthday because we also found out that the other times that we did get was like, hey, within 5, she got 5 more years.
Right.
If that.
Right.
And so
when he became the Tyrant King.
And I think she was 5 at that time.
Well, it said a year later.
Right. So then 6.
And then so we at least got 6, and because that's the other thing. I can't imagine. And then that's the other thing. He said it's going to take about 6 months and then a year for Bonnie to be fully cured. Mm-hmm. And it would take 2, and that was the only thing we could go off of. And then it would take 2 years for Kuma, for the Pacifista project.
Right.
So.
Well, because but the question is, were those 2 things happening simultaneously?
That's what they were saying, because Vegapunk said he won't even get to see her once she's cured. And he's like, that's not my problem. So we at least know that 6 months have happened for her to be cured, but that year for it to fully take effect has not yet happened. And the part of the preview was making it seem like she's about to try to sneak out to sea or something to see him. Yeah. But it's like that episode could start and we got a time. We got a year. We got some type of information telling us where we are time-wise.
Yes. But no, I mean, I feel like it makes me, from the backstory again from Bonnie, it makes me respect Bonnie's character more in the sense of like, hey, we got this 7-year-old, maybe 7, 8-year-old who's traveling the seas, who's encountered Blackbeard, all types of people. And
I'm going to hold justice. I'm going to hold refinement.
I never said that information. Well, no, I'm not saying that she threw down. I'm just saying, like, I'm giving her props for the fact that she was able to travel to and fro.
I don't know.
That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying.
Look, that's all I'm saying.
And then before I feel bad about kids, I got to remember, don't forget, we saw a Sabo get beat up as a kid with his chipped teeth.
That was crazy.
Like, we've seen kids, pirates have, don't hold back.
Well, look, that's fine, but I'm just like, the kids that we saw were coming from East Blue.
Sure.
And I feel like that's still a conversation.
Don't forget Robin. She had a wound that was on her at 9 years old.
That's what I stand for
Robin got beat.
Listen.
She's getting torn up in the streets.
Listen, I understand. I'm just saying, before we were on the fence about like who is Bonnie, why is she so important. Now I'm just saying, with this more information now we're getting, I just respect that's all.
Bonnie might join the crew.
She might.
Because I'm thinking about people
might.
When we see kid backstories, even Kolo or Koala, whatever her name is. Yeah. They either join the Revolutionary Army or they join the Straw Hats. Because we also saw Nami when she was on that Tangerine Island in the Fishman. Mm-hmm. They were beating people up there too.
We did get Zoro briefly as a kid.
Yeah, I don't think he really got beat up. That's just training.
Yeah, so I was just like, wait a minute. We saw him be a big-headed kid. Yeah, that's a thought. That's definitely a thought.
I'm also confused. Like, it would have made more sense if she didn't get cured and if that was still there and that's why her name was Jewelry Bonnie.
That would make sense because technically she still got 5 years.
That would have made more sense. Yes. So I'm just like, I need answers.
We just need more answers. But yeah, enjoying the world of One Piece. That's all I gotta say. So, getting all the information.
All right, most anticipated.
Yeah, most anticipated. For summer. Summer is strong.
We're going to trim some of this. I can't wait to hear your list.
I know. Man, I'm going with the top ones. So.
Oh, gosh.
And these are continuing. I'm saying this one first to get it out the way, not because I'm excited about this show.
Okay.
It's just to get it out the way, and
sure.
I'm just like, I have to see what happens next.
Sure.
Dan to Dan season 2. Because you and I both talked about how it was dumb, how they ended it. And I'm just like, we didn't have to even go in that house. She didn't have to go to that hot spring. So we have to know what happened. So not because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so committed to this show. I need to be all like, let's wrap it up and keep it moving. Okay?
Right.
That is not yet. All right, now these are the shows that I'm really excited about.
Got it.
Shield Hero season 4.
Makes sense.
Kaiju number 2 season 2.
Makes sense.
Sakamoto Days part 2.
Makes sense.
Those are my hardcore ones. I'm just like, yes.
Really?
Those that were continuing, and then the soft continuing that I'm like interested in. Reborn vending machine, because I got to see what else they're gonna do. Because I was like, we talked about like, well, what else? Because we thought it was fine. So I think that'll be a back burner.
It's a vending machine.
It's a vending machine, and then they're continuing with Arc Knights.
I saw that.
Arc Knights has another thing, and I'm not mad at it because what was her name? It started with a T. Tallulah.
Oh, yeah.
She was a Menace to Society, and
I would have to rewatch Arc Knights.
It's fine. So Tallulah, I'm just like, are we gonna get more Tallulah time?
Okay.
Absolutely, great. So those are my continuing shows I was like, I want to see. Okay. New shows. Gachi Akuta.
Yes.
Put that one's on there. Togen on Anaki.
Yep.
The Water Magician.
Oh, good.
The Water Magician. This one might be a little sad, and I think this might be a mystery show / supernatural.
Okay.
The summer Hikaru died.
Yep, that's on my list.
Okay. Cleavites.
That's gonna be a good one.
Yep. This one's gonna be I feel like it's gonna be a back burner for me, but I'm gonna enjoy it. It's different. Ruby Rocks. It's about people who are into like mineralogy and gemstones and stuff. It's gonna be a whole thing, so that's gonna be a back burner for me. I know that this is gonna be harem, but I have to see this one. Okay. Scooped up by a S rank adventurer.
I do want to see this
because they're all and I'm just like, I haven't seen this. We've seen A rank stuff, but I'm just like, have we been scooped up by an S rank adventurer? What's happening? Tell me more. Deacon no Mogra, the Earthbound Mole. I'm gonna watch that one.
Okay, I glanced at it. Okay.
There's Hell Teacher.
Yes, I want that one.
Let's see. Fermat no Ryori. And this one I think will be funny, but serious. I think that I don't really know what to expect from this one. Hotel Inhumans.
Oh yeah, I'm intrigued by it.
I'm intrigued by the synopsis from it. I was like, oh, this is different. I haven't seen this because it's hospitality, but they're like, hey, we're also assassins. I was like, okay, got it. And then the last one is With You in the Rain. That's what I got.
Interesting.
Yes. So I mean, I think summer is just gonna be really intense.
I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know how much you're gonna trim from that. I know the ones that I mentioned, like there's maybe like 3 to 4 that are like back burner.
There's only 5 that you mentioned not on my list.
I mean, there was more, but I had to stop. So
that's what I was gonna say. Well, I'm hoping or thinking. First of all, you're gonna have to give me the name again of the one show you were talking about with an F or Fermo or something.
Yes, I thought you would have liked that one. Hold on. I mean, I'm glad we're both on the same page about the Water Magician. Cause I was
100%.
I was like, what's that gonna be about? Besides the Water Magician.
Sure. I'm pulling up the list now, so I should be able to find this thing here.
I think there was one in there, but I was like, I think it's gonna be on your list, so I was like, I was holding off on it.
Okay.
So yes.
I mean, so like shows we're not gonna talk about probably here, but because I don't know if we already did a show on it, but I'm definitely gonna watch Dress Up Darling season 2.
I know that you were talking about. No, I knew that you were gonna watch that.
Right. So I just want people to know, like, I am gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I know it's a top one. I know that it's supposed to be another season of that one show you were talking about, the people with the eyes, the colored eyes thing, the idol show.
Yes, another. I think this will be their third season.
Okay, so yeah, there's that.
Yes.
So like we want to recognize like shows that are happening. We just won't probably be discussing them here.
I mean,
Also,
a couple of Cuckoos is having a second season.
Call of the Night season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Call of the Night season 1 was pretty good, but I figured you were going to take this one solo camping for 2.
That's on my thing for back burner. I think it's gonna be great. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to watching it. But I didn't think you would want to watch it, so I was like,
I think I'll watch a bit of it. We'll see.
Okay.
Detective These Days Are Crazy.
Yes,
like,
that was
okay.
on my back burner. I was like, this, I like it. It's straight to the point.
Busa Man Gachi Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. I'm intrigued.
He's
Omiyo.
a different type of hero.
Yeah. Omiyo Katan Rebirth. I don't know. Visually, it looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something that you might like. The fragrant flower blooms with dignity.
Yes, I want to watch that one, but it was like on back burner.
Sure, and that's why I figured some of these might be a back burner kind of thing. Secrets of the Silent Witch.
Mm-hmm.
Will it be good? Will it be a back burner? Who knows?
Yeah.
New Saga. Just a basic name. I saw some images. I'll check it out. Apocalypse Bringer, My Nogaraya. World Conquest starts with the civilization of ruin. Big title, so you know I have to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Shy Hero and the Assassin Princess. Seems like a funny base one. Private Tutor to the Duke's Daughter. I might like it. Might be a back burner. We'll see. And last but not least, I'm not really into romance, but The Betrothed to My Sister's Ex. I'm intrigued to see what it's about.
Okay.
Summer's huge.
Summer's huge, you know. And there was one show I didn't mention, which is fine. It's called it's a bowling show. And I was so I was just like, there's just like a lot going on in summer. I'm excited to see that there's a lot of new shows in summer.
And like you said, like a lot of these like Dr. Stone has a returning.
It's like 7 seasons.
There's an audience, but not here for that rental girlfriend thing. That has another season.
Absolutely.
The Seventh Prince has a second season.
Yep.
You know, there's a season 2 of it's like like a couple of chocobos. I loved the couple of chocobos at first.
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, that's got a second season. You know, but yeah, I just think there's gonna be some stuff. You know, I looked at City, the animation. I don't know what that is. Probably super back burner. Who knows?
Well, also, we just forgot to mention, because it's a movie, Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle. It's going to be a 3-part movie trilogy thing, which I'm not mad at. I'm not mad because Demon Slayer does a good job with its movies, so I'm not angry about it. I'm really not.
Okay.
But that's also happening, but that drops in July. So we just might do like a separate episode on that, which I think makes sense.
I also thought it was funny that there is the bonus show you're talking about is Turkey.
Yes.
I thought that was hilarious. I was like, this show's called Turkey?
Yeah, that's what I was like, what are we doing? But I was like, oh yeah, this is terminology and
apparently it means 3 consecutive strikes.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is it's Turkey. I was like, all right. So yeah, so
and this is the time for some of that stuff to drop. If
you
ask me, Turkey, there's a show about karaoke. You know,
I would want to watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
Because it's
let me
interesting.
know.
But I was like, I don't think we're gonna talk about it. You know, so it's fine. It's
but like some of these shows that happen, you know, when there's a vending machine out, you know, you just bring all your funny stuff. You know, there's another card fight again. Like, you know, just you just go with it. I don't know if this is going to be the new form of horror. There's something called like a Milky Subway. I don't know. It gives me kind of horror vibes, so we'll have to see.
Okay.
But that's the most anticipated for summer.
Yep.
We have finished technically spring.
Yep. Just gotta
stragglers.
Yeah. vigilante and apothecary, but that's fine. Stuff's happening, so it's okay. It's okay. But, yeah, that's this week's episode of High School Uncharted.